committee, he'll talk about that he actually listened to some of the wrong people early on. And he became very adamant about making sure the people he was listening to actually did and knew what they were talking about. Anyway, so we're recording now. I appreciate you all being here. We're actually starting a minute early, so I really, really appreciate your timeliness. I am Melinda Kruse DiPerna. I'm an agent here in this office. I am on ALC on the Education Committee, and I am a recent addition to the productivity coaching team. I'm coaching launch and growth agents. I have been a licensed broker since 2006. I got my license. I got in under, I was talking with the vet yesterday about, I got in under the rules that to be a broker, I just had to have the education and the courses and all of that. And I already had a master's degree, so I was able to just go sales license, broker license, without serving under anybody. I got my broker's license because I already had a vacation rental brokerage, and I needed a broker's license to manage more than 30 days. I had no intention of selling. I have a friend in KW in Carmel Valley that can quote me that I said, I will never, ever sell real estate. You pay me enough money to do what you do. I managed the short-term rentals. He did the sales. We kind of had an agreement up in the north doing that. So that started in 2006. And I got into that business because I was already an investor. I already had short-term rentals. People asked me to do it. And then I managed through the Great Recession. It nearly killed me. None of my clients lost their properties. And everybody who worked for me was making money except me. And guess what? I wasn't affiliated with KW. Had I been affiliated with KW, I would have learned about leverage. I also maybe would have sold that business instead of just sending it off to people for free. I would have at least gotten referral fees out of it. But I closed that down, took care of my mother, took care of kids, and in 2013 found myself back in the position that I needed to go back and make 6 figures. I had come from a corporate background, but I had left to raise a family. So in late 2013, my best friend said, don't you dare let that broker's license expire. She was now with KW up in Orange County, and she said, you need to go talk to them. I did. I walked in the door reluctantly, and a year and a half later, I was a capper. And like I said to those who were here early, Ignite really set the tone for my career. I am so blessed that I was taught by people that are still the top agents in San Diego County. I saw most of them at the awards banquet recently, the Circle of Excellence, and it dawned on me that, wow, I am really lucky that these are the people who helped me launch my career, and that I'm with KW, that we have that culture of collaboration. It is not that way at every brokerage. I have friends in every brokerage and friends who have come from every brokerage. It is not that way, so you are really, really blessed to be here. So, thank you again for coming. We've got a large crowd. This is my first time teaching this segment, and the reason I wanted to teach it is because I want you to have the accountability, because that will get you where you want to be. And I want you guys doing the work. So I wanted to set the tone that we're going to do the work. Fair enough? Any questions as we start out about expectations? Okay. And it is my first time teaching this segment. And interestingly, it'll be the last time because they just changed Ignite on us the week before we decided to go. So we didn't have enough time to teach the new one. So we are in power session. So the first thing is we're going to get our heads in the game. One of the blessings of KW is mindset. And you won't get that everywhere. You can get the best sales training in the world, and I'll contend I could have the best sales training in the world. I trained at Northwestern and a couple Fortune 100 companies. I've got an MBA. And yet I didn't have this. I didn't have the mindset. My first stint in sales, I think I was 22, and it nearly killed me because it was horrible. I couldn't handle the rejection. I was not prepared to handle rejection. I took it all personally. I gained a lot of weight. I was so unhappy, but I did it because it's what I had to do to advance the career. I did my 2 years and then I was out. So I want you to get in your head in the game and understand why you're here. So my question, and this is participatory, is have you achieved your financial goals through your real estate career so far? And I know most of you are really new, and I know a few of you are not. Just to shake a head, or anybody want to share, are you where you want to be? Is it a resounding no? Okay. I'm not either, believe it or not. I I'm not either, and I hate to record this. I think I made like $335,000 last year. Okay, I think my gross was. I'm nowhere near where I want to be because that's not providing that doesn't feed my big why yet. My big why is really, really big. So here's the next question is, well, and I brought this book because somebody's going to get it. I happen to have an extra copy. What is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others? I saw Chris Spade out there. Is it his good looks? Is it Spade's good looks? Is that why he's on an ALC and in the top 10, top 15 all the time? Is it my education? Is it someone else's that they were born? I hear it. I'm going to say some of the things you're saying. Well, they were born and raised in San Diego. Their parents were in real estate. They came from a job. They knew a lot of people. Or what do you think the one thing is that makes real estate persistence, persistence, drive, relationships. Say that again. A genuine passion to help. Networking. You're the closest. Hard work. All yes. Yes. But the answer is yes to all of those, but that alone will not get you there. It's this. Let me see. I hope I have whiteboard markers. I almost brought my own. It's this, and you're going to hear it all over and over and over again. And this is a reason why I was never a teacher. Lead generation. Okay? That's a big scary word you're going to hear all over and over and over. And I'm going to make it less scary, and it is also connecting. Connecting. Conversations. Okay, but it's this. This is it. You've got two jobs. And it's the lead generation, and then it's the selling houses. But you've got to sell yourself first. Okay, your product is actually your service. It's not the houses. Houses sell themselves, kind of. Okay, people don't buy a house because you convince them to. They buy a house because they need one, but they sell a house because they need to, not because you were so good at it. You might get them more money. You might get it to the table. You might get it done more pleasantly, faster, whatever, higher price. So lead generation daily is really the differentiator. There's no way around it. There's just no way around it. And why do you guys think that all agents don't do this? They're uncomfortable. They what?
Intimidated.
They're intimidated, yes. What else?
It can be a little scary, you know.
It can be a little scary. It's interesting because in a room full of newer people, I hear this. It's uncomfortable, it's scary, it's intimidating. Okay. Lazy. I heard that with more experienced agents. We also get distracted. I'm going to be honest. I am horribly distracted by this new coaching job. My lead generation numbers, Nicole isn't part of my accountability group. My lead gen numbers are way off the chart from where I'm supposed to be. And you know what? It's going to show up in my business. I guarantee it will show up in my business. Because even at my point with repeat referral business, if I go away, so does it. Because I don't have an automated lead generation machine. It's something for me to work towards. Okay. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about those reasons? Is it scary? Really? Don't you talk to people all day long? No. That's okay. I saw their face. The question comes, then, is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear of doing the one thing that will make you successful? And that's why we spend time on the big one. That's why it does need to be. You do need to remind yourself. Some days it's easy, you guys. Some days it's fun, and some days it's not. And you've got to make friends with the drudgery of doing it. And Gary Keller says make friends with the boredom. Because honestly, you know, it's all fun at first. And I teach a class tomorrow about Facebook lead generation and lead generation from the passion. It was all fun and easy at first. Now, almost 2 years into it, I'm like, oh man, I've got to send 100 messages. Okay, and yeah, I gotta send 100 messages, but the business isn't gonna stay with me. It's gonna go to somebody else who is. Okay, great. Well, you know what it takes. So now we're gonna go into a little bit more of a mindset. Somebody's gotta remind me to do the PowerPoint slides. All right. You're in the business of lead generation. You're in the business of real estate. Mindset and attitude matters. We established that. Anybody disagree? And it's okay to disagree with me. I don't like an echo chamber. Okay. All those other things that I mentioned that can put an agent ahead, of course, that makes it a little bit easier or simpler because, and anybody who's done one-on-one business planning with me, the first thing we talk about is what do you already do? What are you already good at? I want you to discover what you already have that's unique, whether it's that you were military personnel, or that your kids are in school here, or that you're vegan. Carl, being vegan is his unique value proposition. Those are his people that he sells to, is other vegans and animal rights activists. That's cool, right? I love the message I got, hey Melinda, I'm ready to buy. It's somebody I met paddleboarding, right? And I forgot that we even talked about real estate. I got another paddleboarder in the back. You know, I want it to be part of your life. That's easier. So that's kind of where we're going. So there are 6 personal perspectives. Does everyone in the room know who Gary Keller is? I don't want to presume that. Yes? Okay. So Gary studied before he wrote this book, which is ancient right now. We've been waiting for 2.0 for about 6 years. But he studied what made successful real estate agents because he believed why reinvent the wheel and success leaves clues. And so what he found out is that there are these 6 personal perspectives that if we work on them and master them, will lead us to success. And that mindset will help us before we start the real estate. So the first one is self-mastery. So what does self-mastery look like? Did anybody watch those videos? I know they were hard to figure out. Okay. Which one of those, so the 6 personal perspectives are mindset, attitude, approach to life. That's all part of, I think that's all part of your self-mastery. The 6 personal perspectives are self-mastery, the 80-20 principle, which is also Pareto's principle. Do I have any other scientists or mathematicians or engineers in the room? Okay, then I'll stay away from Pareto's principle. E to P, this one's huge. My life changed in 2020 when I finally listened up and went from E to P, entrepreneurial to purposeful. And we'll talk more in detail about that. Being learning-based, no limiting beliefs, and being accountable. And that was also pivotal in changing things for me in 2020, was accountability. It's always been pivotal, but that was pretty critical. So I'm going to go back. It's not all on the slides. Okay. The 6 personal perspectives will be brought up again and again because they're the foundation. So it tells me to read. Okay, Gary's question was, what is that differentiates those who achieve at the highest levels from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? And he discovered it was these 6 things. So, what is self-mastery? What is, those of you who watch the videos, what's self-mastery?
Would it fall under like discipline? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of it's discipline. A lot of it, that's where the calendaring comes in. It says here, the possession of self-mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. So, and this is probably the hardest one of all 6. It's the person, there's a gentleman named Kruse who used to be the CEO of Keller Williams, and I was fortunate enough to work in his office. And Kruse, no matter where he was on the globe, just decided there was no such thing as jet lag. And he gets up at whatever time he gets up in the morning, and at 6 a.m. he goes and does his exercise. And that's what's on his calendar. And he does not allow himself to go over that process of, but it's 6 hours ahead, 6 hours behind. It's on his calendar, he gets up, and he does it. It's on his calendar to take a shower and to eat, and he knows what he eats, and he's if you look at Gary Keller, Gary wears the same thing every day. Steve Jobs used to wear the same thing every day. Okay, I have not succumbed to that, but because it takes the guesswork out. They go in their closet, they grab the black t-shirt and the black jeans and the sneakers or whatever it is they wear, and they take that out. The same thing applies. He went on his calendar and he said, okay, the next thing is I lead generate for 3 hours, and these are the people I call. First I call this, then I call this, then I do this, then I do this. And he just didn't question it. It's an incredible amount of discipline. To me, my limiting belief when I first heard him talk about this, he's a robot. I could never do that. My life's too complex. I got kids, I got this, I got that. Like my life, I couldn't possibly have that kind of regimen. And maybe I don't. Maybe it looks like differently for me. And KW's taught me ways to get around that. But that is self-mastery at the highest level. That's why he was CEO of the largest real estate corporation in the world. And I'm not. Okay? That's why he's got a home in like Montana or Wyoming right now, and I don't. Because he still has that level of discipline in whatever business he goes to. And you'll see that time and time again. I listened to Mike Law's interview with Broker Bob the other day on YouTube. And Mike's a friend of mine. He and I have been in the trenches together. But Mike's level of discipline has gone way past from when we started out together. And he now, from 9 to, he calls it his 911 and his 135. From 9 to 11, he does his lead follow-up, and 1, 3, and 5, he has appointments daily, 5 days a week. And he's done working later. I work longer hours because I've got less discipline than he does. He's got a young family, so he's gotten better at managing himself than I have. So I encourage you to work on that. Next is commit to the 80-20 principle. Those of you who coached with me, that's actually the first lesson that I taught when we started coaching was what's your job? What's your one thing? And that was lead generation. And I actually will tell you, this is the principle, this is Pareto's principle, that 20% of your efforts are what's important. And it actually will get you 80% of the results. It's also 20% of the people will sell 80% of the real estate and all of these kind of things. It's a mathematical principle that shows up over and over and over again in patterns and statistics. But basically, it's the idea that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. So you guys are really busy right now, right? You got a ton of stuff. You got this fire hose, you got to sign up with the MLS, you got to get your business cards, you got to get your website, you got to get on all those other sites, then you got to do all this learning, and then you got to show up for Ignite for 3 hours for 4 days a week, and then you got to host open houses, and then you got to follow up those leads, and then you get your coaches training, and then you get your other jobs, right? And then you've got your families and your dating life and everything. It's a lot. I recognize that. So we are here to say, focus on the 20%. And stop worrying. This is really hard for my detail-oriented high C people. Stop worrying about all those details. There is going to be chaos. Focus on the 20%. That's what's most important. That's what needs to come first. That's why most of us do it first thing in the morning. I wish Min were here because Min sends me emails and he's already learned that I'm not looking at the first thing in the morning. I'm actually, that's not the truth. I'm scrolling, I'm seeing if there's anything absolutely urgent I have to deal with, and then the rest of it, I'll get to it when I'm done with everything else. That includes my transactions. Most transactions, the market's changed, so Mondays I actually do spend some transactional time on Monday mornings on transactions. But I actually do my lead generation before I do anything with my clients, my active transactions, because that's what will keep me in this business. This is what happens. I don't even have to drive. This isn't drawn for me. This is what happens in a real estate agent's business. So you start out here, right? You're doing all your activities, whatever. You get a BRE, you get a listing, you get an escrow. So your production comes up here, all of a sudden you get $20,000 checks, you might even have 2 of them. But during this time, when you got busy, you start lead generating because you're so busy with that. And then your production goes down to this, and then you have to do it all over again. And then you do this, and it cycles like this, up and down and up and down and up and down. Whereas if you had just done the lead generation every morning and recognized that that was your first job, then you'll have more of a line that looks like this. Or not everybody, I want you to know it's okay not to want to do $500,000 worth of business. That's okay, right? Your line may look like this and even out. But what I don't want is this, because then you can't pay your bills, then you can't build wealth, then you can't have anything to count on, and that's really hard. Okay. I don't want to have to call you and ask why your credit card was a little behind for your office bills. That's painful for me. Okay, I really, really don't. And I know that everybody else in the office doesn't want to have to do that. All right. Does the 80-20 principle make sense? Have you heard of it before? Yes. Okay. All right. High achievers are always looking for a purposeful way. I said E to P was big. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Entrepreneurial to purposeful. Let me draw again. So, and I'm not sure if I can do it all from memory, but most of us have the ceiling based on talent, experience, education, network, things like that. And this is it. This is the ceiling, right? And I'm really blessed. I had a high ceiling. I have a high ceiling that I could just go to some networking, make some calls, work in my database, do some transactions, get some referrals, do it all over again. And I would consistently perform up here, but finish the year right here. Damn it, I couldn't break through this. I just have his headphones on. Rex, warn you, my mouth.
He gets it off.
I'll try to be really good. I know I'm being recorded. I could not break through here. I've had the same big, hairy, scary goal for a long time, and I couldn't break through. And I've been coached and all of that. And it's because I didn't get purposeful about it. It's because I would make just a normal course. I'd make 15 contacts. I'd make 40 contacts. I'd go to the Maldives. I'd make 0 contacts. I'd go to, I went to Fiji first. I'd make 0. Then I'm tired from those. I'd make 0. Then I'd make 50. Then I get a transaction. I make 10. And this is a daily count. And this is what happened for 7 years. And I could, but every year, I'm still a top performer. I'm still in the top 10. I'm still in the top 2% of the county because most people only sell like 4 transactions in San Diego, okay? Most of us, by the number of people we know that trust us, can sell 4 transactions. I sold 10 to 15 a year. And then I diverge from the story because it's important, and those who are coming tomorrow will hear it again. And then I had a bunch of stuff in 2018 that distracted me, including a trip to Fiji, the Maldives, and God knows where else. 3 surgeries, some personal problems, this and that. And I still did fine. And then in 2019, I stopped doing fine. So in August, I had the #1 sales in this office. And I changed offices in 2019 too. August, great, big, huge check. I don't know what it was. And then nothing in September. Nothing in October. Nothing in November. Nothing in December. Nothing in January. Nothing in February. Now we're in 2020, guys. Okay? I'm single, I'm divorced. My parents are gone. There is no one but me. So I've already gone 6 months. Let me tell you all that I have 6 months of savings, right? I've already gone 6 months. What happened in March of 2020? We shut down. I had 1 escrow in March. And it was like for $350,000, which is not even going to pay my monthly bills. Okay, I've got 2 young adult daughters. It's not going to pay what I've done. So I have 1, and I probably have 10 or 12 in the pipeline because I woke up and I'm like, oh crud. I'm not keeping up. I'm in my savings and I'm in my credit cards already. But 2020 hit me really hard. I'm already depressed, you guys. I already live with chronic depression, so that's there. My daughter had just come home from college and just graduated college. Now I got this 20-something-year-old living in my house that I'm not excited about having, a young adult living in my house, and she's depressed. And her people in New York are actually ending up homeless and jobless, and parents or people she knows are dying from the pandemic. And the first 2 weeks we can't work, and it's all really scary in 2020. I know a lot of you got licensed at that time frame too. Your jobs went away, things got scary. And I'm still wallowing in this, and I'm doing some work, but I'm having a problem. And they're telling us now just care calls. No longer are they telling us to call people and say, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? They're saying call them and see how they're doing. And I'm relationship based, so that's easy for me. You would think it would be an easy call. Guess what? I get on the phone and I start crying. Every single time I start crying. So that's when I actually invented my system that I'll teach a class tomorrow, but it allowed me, the pandemic actually was a gift to me, that allowed me to just be relational based and just start to have conversations. And I did it by text. That's how I got through that. But then I developed a system. About May, I committed to 15 contacts a day. And within 6 weeks of doing that daily, my business started to explode. And then I did it consistently. I had an accountability partner. I got purposeful on how I did it, when I did it, how much I did it, and I built an accountability. Poor Steven, I had to text him every single day. And if I didn't text him, he knew I didn't make my contacts. And if I didn't text him for 2 days, he knew I was on the couch probably crying. And then I had to develop that discipline to be purposeful instead of entrepreneurial when business started to explode. Because it did. I did a year's worth of top agent business in 4 months in 2020. It was hard. And then I continued that pace. Nicole, we probably started working together like towards the end of the 2021 we started that. So anyway, I tell you that because I'm really passionate. I want you to get purposeful. Ignite's going to give you the framework, and it's simple. It's a daily 10-4. It is so simple. I promise you, if I did just what was in Ignite, I'd still be making 6 figures every year and wouldn't have this cycle. If you just do this, stop reinventing the wheel, stop looking for the easy button, you know? Don't go the shiny objects, don't pay the guy, you know, I got the text from Regentology today, can I give you referrals for 25%? Don't do it, all the shiny stuff. I've done the grocery carts, I have not done the bus stops, I have not done the backup buses. The guy who does the backup buses, that's about brand awareness. He's already making millions of dollars, okay? It's not going to put you where he is. I know him personally. That's not how he got there. Okay, he got there by calling. He was actually with KW. He got there by that. Every day, day in, day out. Any questions on P2P? All right, be learning based. That's kind of, to me, a no-brainer. You're going to keep learning, keep learning. You see, Nicole just brought me a book called Fierce Conversations. So I'm always learning, okay? I've read it, I've actually taken the class in it, but this is something that comes up over and over again. So I'm always reading something, learning something. You don't have to do this one. This has got more to do like when you're hiring people or you have poor personal boundaries, you have trouble having those hard conversations. That's lead. Right now, stay focused on this. Stay focused. There's 100 books to read, and you're gonna have all those lists. Stay focused, right? And you're here, so I know you're all learning based. And high achievers remove their limiting beliefs that they think, and from their thinking, that hold them back. Anybody here have any limiting beliefs about themselves they want to share? Limiting beliefs about themselves they want to share, and as it associates to real estate.
I guess I don't want people to think this is limiting belief, that if I approach people because I am relationship based, that I'm going to come off as pushy, or I only want to know you because I'm trying to get a sale out of you. And so that keeps me from,
We talked about that yesterday, about how you don't want to be that pushy salesperson. I learned this term at Ignite. You can quote me. I learned it from a guy named Bobby Martin. Don't have commission breath. Okay? It's worse than coffee breath. It's worse than morning breath. Commission breath. Yeah, and we can have commission breath. It's funny, there's a person who's a travel agent. She's in Tanzania that I met on Facebook when I was trying to expand my people. And it's funny because she was like, yeah, I'd love to be your friend as long as you don't try to sell me real estate. I know lots of other real estate agents. Yet all she does is try to sell me safaris to Tanzania. And I'm like, you don't have the right to sell me a safari to Tanzania because you're not in a relationship with me. You don't even know if I want to go to Tanzania. You don't even know if I've seen the big 5 animals before, if I've been on a safari. So stop selling to me. Get to know me first. Stalk my Facebook a little, you'll see where I've traveled. You'll see some of my hobbies. Okay? And yeah, you guys can stalk it and whatever. I like travel. I'll go anywhere. What's ironic is if she approached me right, I might be on that Tanzania safari right now, but she approached me wrong and I'm a high D and I shut you down if you have a commission break. I'll let you in on my Facebook, and if your next conversation is how you can sell me 50 qualified seller appointments a month, block. Okay? So don't have commission break. And you'll learn that coming from contribution, if you come from contribution, when you come from contribution, you won't feel badly talking about it because you'll know that you can actually help them. Care, one of you said you actually care. Those things matter. That's why I started with why listen to me. Why would you guys listen to me if you don't know that I care? And if you don't know that I have credibility, right? So you have to come from that. Any other limiting beliefs?
I've had friends flat out say, don't even talk to me about it. Like, we know you do, same thing, I have friends that do, even though they're really close to me.
Mm-hmm.
They
And in
done
6
that.
months, no, not even 6 months, in a month, they're gonna be asking you, MJ,
They'll ask
what do you think's happening in the market? Oh my gosh, is it gonna crash?
Yeah.
Should I sell now? Should I buy? Because we're gonna teach you how to build credibility. You don't have the credibility with them yet as an agent, so they're pushing you away so they don't feel bad. And I'll tell you funny, my own boyfriend walked into an open house. Yes, it's a real estate love story. And I asked him the normal questions. It was an incredibly hot day in Sarah Mesa. I'm sweating. I am not looking good. I don't know how this ever went down. But I asked him, of course, do you have a real estate agent? What does he say?
Yes.
Of course. He says yes, right? He does me one better. He takes my iPad sign-in and signs in. He didn't sign in. He took my card and pulled it up for me later, okay? He stayed for an hour and a half, whatever. He was the master. I should have been learning from him. But yeah, everybody says they have an agent because they don't want that. He didn't know he didn't know anything about me as an agent yet. Yes, he has a friend that is an agent. He knows people who are agents. They weren't his agents, you know, and they certainly aren't his agents now. But they just don't trust you yet. He didn't trust me yet. I walk into Nordstrom. I'm a classic person in the shoe department. Of course, I'm going to need their help, right? I can't get my own shoes. I have big feet. I'm going to need their help. Hi, can I help you? No, thanks. I'm just looking. And then I'm looking, and this is really important. You guys listen up. I see my shoe. I look up. Am I looking for the guy who asked if I needed help?
Yes.
No, I'm not. Am I going to go find the guy who asked me if I needed help?
No.
Not a chance. Who am I going to go to?
Whoever's nearby.
Closest.
Yeah.
And gets my cue that I've now got the shoe in my hand and I'm looking like this. It's called emotional proximity when you're in sales. Steve and Jack taught me about this. That guy might have been great and I might have liked it, but he's not there when I want him. So I'm going to do business with, and they're on commission at Nordstrom. I'm going to do business with the person who notices it and goes and gets me 5 different pairs that are similar to that one in an 11 wide. Yeah, that would be. Okay. And if he gives me his card and he lets me know when he gets a shipment in of 11 wides and a 2.5-inch stack heel, you know, I'm now loyal to him and giving out his information and referring him to all my other big-footed friends. So, it's not about you, and that is totally a limiting belief. And it's the most painful thing when a friend and a family member and everybody else buys and sells through someone else. And it is not personal. It is not about you. Another book I love that you don't have to get distracted and read, but put it on your list, is called The 4 Conversations. It's a very small, skinny book. And I can't even tell you what all 4 of them are. I think it's called The 4 Conversations. But one of them is that it's not personal. It's not about you. It's also along letting things go. It's very Zen Buddhist type of thing. But it's realizing that whatever is going on, that was about them. So them not using you was they didn't want to share their financial mess with you. They didn't trust you quite yet. I mean, you knew. Am I gonna hire you to sell my $1 million house? Probably not. Okay, do I love you? Yeah, I do. My sister-in-law says, no way, no how. My sister-in-law, her sister-in-law that she doesn't even like and who's mean to her, lives in La Jolla and has been in real estate for 30 years and needs the money more than me. So she's getting the referrals, not me. She's not better than me. She doesn't love her more than me. She's more afraid of her than me. Okay, so have I found out about my own brother's home purchase in Oregon that I could have gotten a referral fee off of on Facebook? Absolutely. My own niece in Colorado? Absolutely. Let it go, you guys. And then look at yourselves for about 10 minutes and say, what could I have done differently? What can I do better? And move forward. Okay? And don't be the drama queen, just let it go. Those limiting beliefs. And then finally, and we hit on this, is being accountable. So we're going to ask you guys today to get at least one accountability partner in here. We'll also be accountable. You'll be accountable to us. You're accountable to your coaches. We'll practice some scripts, things like that. All right. It's interesting how little they have on the slides and how much they have here. So I get nervous about time, but I think we're doing okay. Everybody doing okay? All right. So getting the most out of this experience. I want to know what kind, they call you guys cappers in training. Is anybody in here already capped? One at least once? No. Okay. You're cappers in training. You all have the ability to cap. And if you don't know yet because you're new what a cap is, it's when you pay the office $26,000 in commission plus your $3,000 to KWRI, and then you get to keep 100% of your commission for the rest of your commission year. Mine's November 1st, I think. Okay, so I've capped as quickly as 45 days. I've capped as slowly as 11 and a half months. 2020 would be that year. And then I capped like 45 days later. I can tell you that once I capped, I've always capped again. It's like a non-question. Once you do it, you broke that ceiling. It seems really, really hard at first. I know at least one person in this room that continues to tell me how discouraging it can be to feel like she'll never cap, and she will. She's going to cap this time. So, but in this class, which are you? Are you the prisoner? You're here because your coach said you had to go, I said you had to go, somebody else said you had to go. You don't want to be here, and you're not even sure why you're here. You're the vacationer. So far, I haven't seen any vacationers. A day in training is better than a day on the job. And I'll let you know, some people actually took time off of work, like they're paying jobs to be here. And that's pretty impressive, you guys, that you gave up cash money on a sure thing to bet on yourselves. That's pretty impressive. But are you a vacationer? You're just here. And let me give you the traits first. So the prisoner doesn't engage. They spend class time catching up on emails. Escape by spending time in the hall on their phone. They hold on to the limiting beliefs. You know, I can't possibly sell $300,000 in real estate. She's been in this business forever. Remember, I started late 2013, and I did like Steve Herman did. I joined the company and I went on vacation for 3 weeks. He only went for a week, and then I started. Multitask on the computer. Nobody's done this yet. Pick a fight with the trainer. I dare you. The vacationer spends as much time chatting as listening. Nobody's done that. They're here to have fun. They distract the class with their relevant comments. Return late from break and lunch. We're not having lunch, guys. You'll be lucky. You'll break when I need to pay the meter and go to the bathroom. Not purposeful in their learning goals. OMG spends the day on their smartphone texting and checking Facebook. I'll check all your Facebooks when we're done to see who is doing that. And isn't paying attention. Okay, but I also view that part of that is my role to get you engaged. And then there's the explorer. They're excited and curious about the new knowledge, skills, and tools they'll discover in class. Listen attentively, participates fully in the discussions and exercises, asks meaningful questions and contributes compelling ahas, arrives on time. I am so impressed with how on time you guys were. Returns promptly from breaks. Adopts a posture of acceptance. So that'll be the curious one. Like who leaves this room accepting that you can be the next, Paul Tolentino was Rookie of the Year. And like you can be the next Paul Tolentino. He's gotten a lot of press, right? Paul's happy and bouncy and all of that. That's not who I am. So I could have that limiting belief that I'll never be like Paul. I'll never be the popular girl in the room. That's not me. Yet I can meet my goals, my life, and be true to me. And I hope that you'll all leave feeling that way. Takes notes in the manual and respects the different learning styles and opinions of others. Okay? Anybody care to admit that they're not an explorer? Anybody come in here with the attitude of, I'm not sure why I'm going to be here for 3 hours, I'll see how it is, and if it's crappy, I'll leave when the break. Is that a guilty party over there? That would be me usually when I first show up at a class. I'm like, here's the excellent. If this one's a dud, I'm out. I got better things to do, right? Boy, have I learned a lot in the years that I've been with this company. Okay, so action reveal. We are going to report out on our mission for each power session. We are going to have the expectations and the ground rules. So you all kind of had a mission. I hope that you looked at it. Some of you looked at the videos. I'll excuse you if you didn't. They were kind of hard to get to. They were in a sheet that looks like what she's got, the action reveal that Evie gave out. They're hard to find on Connects now. So don't stress too much about those videos. And it asked you, or it said what we're going to do today. I don't think there was any homework, was there? Rework. Bring 25 contacts.
I have my phone like that.
Okay, that's all right. That's a trick question, kind of. Although phones die. That's why on the video this morning in my pajamas that I told you guys to bring your chargers. Did anybody watch the video on Facebook this morning? Yes, I was still in my pajamas. I was fresh out of bed. So we're going to declare your big why. We're going to set your monetary goal. You're going to be accountable. And we're going to use some influencing sales language, which means scripts. Okay? We're going to do activities mostly. So the ground rules through Ignite, and we've already said this. Arrive on time, return promptly, be fully present, bring your laptops, tablets. It says turn your laptops, tablets, and phones to vibrate or on. I don't want them off. I just don't want you doing other things. It's fine if you take notes. And full disclosure, I'm not teaching every class. Someone could come in tomorrow and have different rules, but our rules are that you'll be engaged, okay? Respect the styles of others, help each other learn. Everything in here is confidential. Even though the recording's on YouTube, that's just in the family. Please don't share that outside. And if someone gets vulnerable in here, that's confidential, okay? I don't want it getting back around that someone had a limiting belief. Or, you know what, I guess I'm pretty open about it, but I don't need you guys to tell the world that I went, 9 months without a paycheck. And I racked up savings and credit cards and all of that. And then I want you to have fun. Okay? All right, we're gonna work on 4 skills. Big why. So, there's 3 questions that they have here. And some of this is you looking in. This is kind of your reality check. Why are you in this business? What stirs your soul? And what do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? And is there anyone in the room that is willing to share their question or answers to one or all 3 of those things? Yes, or
Sorry. What page are you on?
I'm my page 19. What's your page? 19. Okay.
It's for the big why?
So it says, what stirs your soul? Why are you in this business? What do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? So those are the questions that help bring you to your big why. If you know what your big why is already, you can share that too. That's 18, I'm told.
Oh, make it happen still. Okay. Yeah, my number is that.
Well, she's looking that up. Did someone else want to share? Yes, ma'am.
I would like more freedom, like working at my hospitality job, like on the holidays, like I have to like wait to see if I get the days off, and just to have like more freedom and like control of my own kind of schedule and how I want to live my life. And I feel like real estate brings more opportunities. Like,
What kind of opportunities? Kind of opportunities.
I would say like when you work for a corporate job, it's kind of like political. Like you have to know the right people. You have to like you can work your butt off and still not get anywhere. Whereas like if you work your butt off in real estate, you can individually like get somewhere like and make your own way. Whereas like a corporate job, you have to like climb the ladder or like
Yeah, you have to do things their way, and even then, there's things out
still,
of your control.
yeah.
Are there things out of our control in real estate?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What can we control? What have we learned already? What can we control?
Our commitment to lead
Yana?
generation.
What was it?
Our commitment to lead generation.
Our commitment to lead generation. That's one of the many, many things we control, and that's the primary one. Okay. Any other mentor you were going to share a little bit, like your why and why you're in this?
Yes, what stirs my soul, really just being successful and being successful in the eyes of my family and not failing.
That was my next question was, what does successful look like to you?
Just not failing.
So I'm going to push you on that. I may have spelled this wrong. Not failing is putting it in a negative. And we're going to learn in sales. Remember I said it was soul crushing when I was younger because I would have used the words not failing and didn't learn some of the language that helps the NLP that helps with that. What positive way can we reframe that? We talk about being successful, but what would not failing look like to you?
Not giving up and continuing through the hard times.
Okay, so not giving up, so keep pushing through. Vandor, is it okay if I share something with the class from our earlier conversations a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, so Vandor is a new client to me, and she's a newly licensed agent. Do you remember when your license dropped?
Yes, April 1st.
April 1st. Today's May 2nd. About 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, Vandor said, maybe I should join a team. She did what I told her to do. I said start reaching out to family and friends because she did have a limiting mindset that she didn't know anybody here and her kids didn't do anything and her husband worked all the time. Do you remember that conversation? She had a limiting belief that she didn't know anybody and she didn't have any avenues to know anyone. And so we dug into that some and then she worked on that for a week. She's very good at doing what I recommend she does. And about a week later, she's like, nobody wants to work with me. None of them want to refer me, and they don't even want to talk about it. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should join a team. We had a conversation around that about, I might have laughed out of love and said, girl, you've only been at this a week and a half. And you're on a team, and we've got you. Let's come up with a plan on what you're going to do. And she has executed the plan, and she's done so and she's tried everything. And she's finding the things that she likes and that she's good at and that she's comfortable and that are true to her values and that you can see she brought her son, that she can do when she needs to bring her son or get a babysitter or whatever, that she can do that. She has her family support. We talked about that, her core family. And she signed her first BRE after her first open house, which she just took the bull by the horns. She's like, I'm ready. And she went out and did it. And then she's converted it. So enough so that yesterday I said, okay, what script did you use? Because she's got more appointments out at my open houses than I do. Okay, she's doing a better job at it. And that's because she's learning based. And she set aside her limiting beliefs, and her big why is huge. Okay, her family is betting on her. They're all in with her. They're supportive. She won't fail because she didn't have her family's support. Yet many of you will succeed in spite of your family's lack of support too, which talk about that later dates, okay? Actually, I have someone, I can't remember, I don't think they're in this room. Somebody broke off with their girlfriend after a conversation with me because he realized that she was limited. She was pulling him down. And I was like, that's not what I intended. It's okay. I might have left my husband after I started making money again in real estate. So yeah, I set that example. So understanding your big why. So I want you guys to take a couple minutes, and I want you to think about it. Why are you here? How much money do you intend to make? It's okay to talk about money, by the way, you guys. Real estate's the one career we talk about money all the time. It's the one career I'm sitting there in the awards thing and the thing, and it's like, how much I made last year is up on the bulletin. I'm like, okay, this is embarrassing, because one time my kids saw it when I was getting divorced, and then my husband saw it. Like, somebody showed it on Facebook, and I'm like, oh crap, that's just gonna cost me some money. My now ex-husband. It's okay to talk about money, and I will say it over and over again, money is good for the good it can do. And that doesn't have to mean that you have a big charity. It might mean that you're the first one that can send your kids to college without a boatload of debt. It might mean that you're the first homeowner in your family. It might mean that you get to pay off all of your debts. It might mean that you can go to Cancun with your sister. And it might mean that you start a huge charity, and that's all okay. And real estate does provide this avenue. If I go back here, it provides you freedom. It does. Most agents get in for freedom and for money. Okay? And you're your own boss. I will tell you, this freedom is earned. You do not get freedom right now. Sorry, guys. You're gonna have to work more. You're starting a business. What do entrepreneurs do? They work a lot, okay? Freedom is earned. And even when I go to the Maldives and Fiji in a 1 month span of time, I worked my tail off before and after to be able to do that, to be able to leave my business and do that. So it's earned, okay? It does give you control. It is the one career with no income limit, no opportunity limit. You can own a brokerage, you can start a company, you can start VA companies, you can start ancillary companies, you can make a ton of money, you can make a ton of impact. There is no ceiling, and the great thing for somebody like me, there's no ceiling if you start at 50. And there's no ceiling if you start at 18. The negative, there's no bottom either. And I don't mean just not earning money. I mean getting into debt trying to fund your business. Okay, there's no bottom either. So you've got to have a plan to get where you want to be. And I like this pushing through. I like that a lot. So while I've been talking, anybody else want to share what they view as their big why? Yes.
When my father passed and when both my grandmas passed, they passed basically broke. And I want to be, my big why is to make enough money so if things happen, I have enough money to help support them.
To support your mother.
Yeah.
So you not only don't want to die broke yourself, you want to be able to take care of the people you love. In this case, your mother. Anybody else have feelings like that? Anybody else just want to get out of debt? A lot of people come in with debt. Anybody else had no options? It's okay if you had no options. I kind of get told, get up and go make 6 figures again, because I just got divested from my company that I founded. From somebody who, my ex who was making a lot of money. Basically, I had to go out and figure out how to make 6 figures again really fast. And this was the place that I could do it if I worked at it. Because we needed that. We had some expensive bills and kids in college. I didn't have a big why when I started other than I had to get back to work and I had to make some money. And then I've got bigger whys now. For me, it's financial freedom. And that looks like to me, my kids I've already put through college debt free. It really means being able to spend time with the people that I love, doing things that I love. I don't have the personal need to leave a financial legacy behind to my children, but I have the need to spend quality time with them, doing interesting things and being with the people that I care about. I also, and the reason I'm here teaching is at this point in my life, I want to inspire and empower others too. So that's why. And I can do that. I can make differences in real estate and people's in their generational wealth. And I can give them better representation so they have better outcomes for their families. And there's nothing cooler than seeing that. A couple of people sat open houses with me yesterday, and after she left, she cried. Okay, we are in the hottest real estate market in history, and we had far fewer showings and no offers by the end of the weekend. And the stress on her is unbelievable because she's, and it's not because we have no offers. It's not because she's not going to make a ton of money on this house, but she's afraid about where her family is going to live in the next house in Virginia, and that they're not going to be able to get something that they want, and they're going to have to live with the in-laws, and then she might be pregnant, and now she's going to be pregnant at the in-laws, and her husband's at sea, and it goes on and on and on. And for me to be able to say, don't worry, we've got this, put it in perspective and say, okay, it's not sold this weekend, that's all right, you're still going to make a ton of money, you're still going to live in a beautiful home, you still have a healthy baby. I sold them the house so I could say, hey, remember when the dog wasn't healthy? Roxy's healthy. And I can make that difference, and that's pretty awesome. And I can calm the situation and reassure her and do my job to get her the most that she can. Can I control the market? Can I control that interest rates went to over 5%? I can't. Can I control what we get for her house? No. But I can control my behavior. So what I did is I got on the phone today and I made 10 phone calls to everybody who showed that house. I asked her if she'd followed up with the buyers. I asked her if she'd followed up with the buyers. And I did my job, which we haven't necessarily had to do over the last 2 years. And guess what? I've got 3 people writing offers, I believe, today. Only one of which for sure was when they left yesterday, because I can do that. And then I can call her with that good news that, well, listen, it's got nothing to do with the house or the price. The house was just too small. Can we change that the house is too small? We can bring it back. So, all right, money. Let's talk money. Anyone want to share how much they are going to earn in a year? Pandora.
Oh, my number, I started out with the whole thing of $60,000.
$60,000 was what she started with.
That's all I really wanted. That's enough.
And that's enough. I know, is he in the, no, I don't have a person in this room. I know somebody else that's more like 40. And that's plenty for him to live the life that he wants. Anybody else want to share their financial goals? There's no shame in it. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going for $250,000.
$250,000 in the next year. And I want you to know you can do that. It's not going to be easy. You're going to work really hard, and you can do that. Okay. Anyone else?
Can you speak to the difference between part-time, like working a part-time job and a full-time job while you're trying to do this in realistic, non-limiting ways?
That's a really interesting question. So her question, remember we're recording for other people, is the full-time versus the part-time job and having other jobs. Some people have other full-time jobs, and the limiting belief about the money and making a go of this. And I have to tell you that this is actually something I've had to ask the other coaches about, because I now have dual career agents coaching under me. And I have had the limiting belief, you've got to do this full-time, which is not fair to you. Right? That's not fair, because everybody had to start somewhere, and not everyone has the luxury of someone else in their life supporting them. So we've got to support ourselves. Yet, what I'll come back to is that it is like starting a business. Has there ever been a time in your life that you went to school and you worked?
Yeah, it's right. Yes.
Okay, a lot of us. I think that's the most common one. Or ever been a time in your life when you parented and worked? Especially solo parents, but a lot of dual parents too. One person does more. Has there ever been a time in your life that you have other businesses, other ventures? Or let's even make it fun. You were learning something new. You were learning to play guitar. You were learning to surf. You were learning to paddleboard, to sail, to speak Italian. And after you did your work week of 40 hours, you went and you put another 10 or 20 hours on that. This is just like this stuff. This is just like that. That it won't be easy, and if you want it, you can do it. My biggest advice is to lean into what you're already doing. We talked about that a little bit yesterday, but it's to examine how you already spend your time. So if I were a mom with little kids and I had a play group, or I was volunteering in the PTA, or I'm there at dance class, I'm actually not going to drop off at dance class anymore. I'm going to drop off and I'm going to hang out. And I'm probably going to wear, Miss Gaga does this. She's not wearing it right now. She wears a lady realtor. She dances. It's her hobby. That's her passion. She loves to dance. And she got really good at it really fast by practicing. She told me I have a limiting belief that I can't dance, that I just need to practice. I don't want it enough.
It's the same thing.
So she doesn't want to have commission breath at all. She's very conscious of that. So she did a passive thing and she started wearing this shirt. And the first Saturday night, she's like, Melinda, you were right. I got 3 people I talked to who need to sell, do this, do that.
Yeah, the guy who wants the business house.
And the guy who wants to list his house and a divorce and all this kind of
But
thing.
it's also hard to talk to people there because you're dancing.
Because you're
And
dancing.
just like talk about a lot of things, you know, and music and everything. So. Were you at Savita Park? Savita, yes. I totally saw you. I was like, I need a shirt. And then I had the shirt on. And she did. I approved right here. I saw you. And a friend of mine asked me, are you always wearing this shirt? I was like, well, pretty much. I mean, it's not the same shirt.
So I know a lot of people who wear a realtor type uniform, you know, the polo shirt, that kind of thing.
Yes, but my car business car here, so someone asked me, are you selling house? But I mean, you're looking for a house in Arizona, so we exchange numbers.
You can exchange numbers, you can write a referral on that, and you actually get paid 25% for that referral.
For what days it was.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So when we're in the business, I was pretty new in my neighborhood, and even though I lived in a really fancy house, I couldn't put my car in the garage like so many people in Southern California. So yeah, I put those silly magnets on my car. Put it actually on the back of my car so it was there when you drove by. And these were $1 million houses at the time. That $1 million was a lot, and now it's nothing. I would leave my name tag on purposefully after something. I have those tags and take it off, right? You know, or I'm at a networking. Oh, I must have forgot to take it off, but you're in line at Home Goods and you see the person who's buying a whole bunch of stuff. They might be a stager or whatever it is. I've got a lead from somebody I met in Home Goods a couple weeks ago. I actually wasn't wearing my thing. I'm just nosy now. He had a pink handle, so I started and it was canceled. Those of you who are single and who are dating on the online sites, you will laugh at me, but I will tell you, you're building your bench. You're either going to date them or you're going to sell them or somebody into a house. Just make that decision quick, you guys. You were just screaming. You were doing you're building your benches on either sides. And I don't know if it's like left or right, but you know, that's what you're doing. And you see, you know, Qualcomm, okay, W-2 job, good pay, put the bench over there, okay? So do what you do naturally and start your business from that. And then move forward. So every time, like I need to or intend to grow my business. So now I need to do something different from what I was doing. And you're going to find what your levers are. But especially if you have another job, and all of us have some other job, start to build on that. But not with commission rep. Don't download the PTA list or the soccer list and put them into commands. And start emailing them. Please don't do that. You're going to get banned or your HOA list. But you can start getting to know them and get that information in.
I just want to point out those who are here doing the food drive, email schools and ask them to distribute it. And my son's school, they're like, well, we'll put this on our blog and email it out to all the parents. Okay, all my info is on those food drive flyers, so that's good too.
I didn't even think of that. Did you guys hear that? So the food drive flyers for Red Day, May 12th. It's an opportunity to get out or not, give out flyers. You can put it on your website. I don't know. You can put it on your social media. You can share it with all the other soccer moms. You just get snapped that day. You put it in with the snaps, and it's got your information in there. And people want to give back. So there's another opportunity. Okay. I have no idea how I'm doing on the time for this. Big why. The other things that will help you. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the big why. And then here, I want you to drill into what achieving the goal will mean to you, how will it change your life. That usually comes with the money. Anybody visualize how that will change your life? What would $250,000 do different in your life if I could put you on the spot?
Sure. A bigger house for my family, and I guess just not having to worry about the little things, like bigger things. You know, just having that comfort that if the refrigerator breaks down, you need some $3,500, like no problem, that kind of thing. Just I think a certain sense of security that comes with that. But right now, the main one is a bigger house.
A bigger house. So you guys need a bigger house. Your what for you? You said.
I like to travel, so with the military, we can fly for free certain places, but outside of that, I'm gonna be able to go to Hawaii 5 times a year, so that's a big place. And take the kids, so that's what the money will do.
My mother used to call that pin money. She said she went back to work for the extras. I kind of laughed. We didn't have any extras, so now I know why my mother went back to work. It was because she had 4 kids. Mm-hmm. She went back to work to have something of her own. But yeah, absolutely. So to be able to do that. Does anybody else want to share what their financial goal may be and what that would do for you and your family?
Starting to be able to put it down to buy my own house and then stop renting.
And stop renting. Mm-hmm. Right. So start building your own equity. Your own financial fortune. Did you guys know the statistic is probably different now after what's happened in the last 2 years, but 65% of America's wealth is in real estate. For almost everybody, their primary home is their biggest financial asset. I'm pretty passionate about that. It's the only way that my mother didn't end up broke. Is because my father bought a home on the GI Bill. She and my father did. They paid it off, and they had equity in that house after he passed, and she moved here and then into living and all of that. So it's a really important thing, an important goal to have for you and for your clients. Understanding your clients' whys can help you a lot, and not to have that commission break. If you understand. I've seen agents pass judgment of, why do they need a 4,000 square foot house? Well, understanding that why, what that means to them, can help you to come with more compassion for that. So, this is a good one. I want you to take a few minutes from what we just went through, and I want you to write a statement that summarizes your big why. Anybody help me on what page this is on in their book? And it's right there. What? 22 and 21. So a couple people have different pages. I think it's whether you print it or not. So I want you all to take the time and write that. And then I want you to take a picture of your big why with your phone. And then so take a couple minutes and do that. Back this way. If you already know your financial goal, we add that to it on the next page. And then I'll help you figure out how many houses you have to sell to get there. How many houses you get to sell to get there. I'm going to go read from that one.
Oh, like water? Like water.
No, they do. It's like a small little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
candy and warm Gatorade and water back there. Courtesy of some of our preferred marketing partners. Stop me.
She has so much. Yes, everything.
It's okay. I can hear it. Two more minutes. And then in about 18 and a half minutes, we'll take a break to meet the leaders. For anybody else who's got the meters. Okay. Does anyone want to share what they wrote? You don't have to. But I do know that sharing it helps to give clarity, and sharing it helps to make it real. Anyone? Let me see if there's anybody else. Because I appreciate that you're willing to share. One young lady in the middle here.
Big why, coming from immigrant parents, I made it a goal to break the cycle of working for someone else, paycheck to paycheck, feeling like I'm wasting my time, and being able to spend time with my loved ones, traveling, enjoying their life. With real estate, I will achieve a financial freedom that will help me open up doors for my success as an entrepreneur and having working for me. Okay.
That's okay. I really appreciate that you shared. I really appreciate it. What is it? Amadin?
It's a little hard, sorry.
I need to have it written down. I apologize. Amayan. Am I getting closer?
Almost there.
When we have a break, write it down for me, and I'll get it figured out. So what she shared is that she's a daughter of immigrants, and she doesn't want to, or she wants to work for herself and break the cycle of working for other people, spend time with the people she loves, and build a future for herself and her family that is self-determined. Is that fair? We're looking at. I got chilled when she was reading that because that's pretty darn powerful, and that is kind of the story of the United States of America, right? And how amazing that we can give that opportunity. Someone's ringing. It's not me yet. I've got one on with me here. That's pretty amazing, you guys. Do you have a number associated with that, or a financial goal of how much you will earn?
Starting off at 100K.
100,000. That's the pretty typical first year real estate goal, you guys, especially in an area like this. But don't feel like you have to measure to one person's or another's, okay? I want you to get comfortable sharing that. I want you to take a photo of it. I want you to look at that on a daily basis. I know a lot of successful agents that write it out as an affirmation in their journals daily. They start their day with it, they end their day with it, they put it in front of their computer, they put it on their whiteboards, they put it all over the place. Because if in a month you can't remember what your big why was, and you don't know what your financial goal is, you're not going to hit it either. You need to internalize it. It's like scripts in a way. And this is your self-talk, and it's okay if it changes. I do know one of the blessings of age is I know that whys change. At one point, it had more to do with my children, and now it's got more to do with me and other loved ones. But it had more to getting them to a certain place. And then you have a why, and you're like, okay, what now, right? And that's where the inspiring and leading comes from. So we're going to dig into the monetary goal, and if it's okay, I'll use 100,000. Is that an okay number in this room?
Yeah.
It's not too intimidating. It's not too low. It's not too high. It's a good, fair, solid number. So I'll do the example here with 100. Put in what yours is. Right here, it's page 23 in my book. Write your annual monetary goal. We are not going to use $200,000 for an average sales price. That's what it has in my book. That's real estate, okay? Yeah, that's real estate. We can't even get that in Tucson anymore. So, anyone know what the average or median sales price is right now in San Diego? 850, 860, 900. Would it be fair to use 800? Should we use a little lower because you're going to do condos too?
750.
I think 750 is a good number to work with. Okay. What you will do when you do business planning the next time is you will track your numbers and you will see what your average sales price was, and you'll do your business planning for the next year based on your average sales price. But for right now, let's use 750. Okay. So, also, does it have a commission rate in your books?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have bad news for you. You're not going to get 3% very often on buy side, okay? So this is an average. And I don't want a limiting belief for you guys because there's people in this room that will list homes for 7%. And there's people in this room who will probably list homes for 3 or 4% total, okay? And I'm not going to pass judgment one way or another. But I'm going to say on the average, I think it's safer to work with a number like 2.5%, okay, for an average commission. When I list a home, typically I get more than that, and when I represent the buyers, last year we were getting less than that. So it kind of all works out, and it works out for your mix. So we're going to use 2.5%. So what would the average commission be then on that number? Who's quick?
18,750.
What was it?
18,750.
18,750 would be the average commission. I will tell you that's a little higher than what the average in this office is right now, and that's okay. We're going to use this number because we're not going to use the limiting beliefs right now, okay? We can change that number up. So an average commission, imagine, how good would that feel, you guys? When you open up that check, right? Okay, you're not going to get the 18,750 until after the caps. And even then, there's some fees associated with it. And that is just the way it is, okay? It takes money to earn money, and it's part of what you're getting here. This class, if I were to teach this, I'd probably charge you each a few $100s to go teach this outside of the school, okay? You're not getting it for free, you're paying, but you're also getting the culture and the environment and the education. So, Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna factor in our market center fees. So, our cap in this market center is $26,000. Okay, we're a higher price market center. They actually don't have them coming on that low anymore. And your royalty is 3%, so the total is $29,000. So what we're gonna do is most people are on a 70-30 split. It's KW did, that's kind of our model. Right now, the look was like, I'm not on a 70-30.
I didn't hear it.
A 70-30 split, which means that until you cap, the company takes 30% towards your cap. Plus they take that 6% royalty till you hit 3,000. You typically hit the 3,000 before you hit the office cap. Okay, but first let's do, to come to your cap, the GCI of 100,000 times 30% is what? 30,000, right? Or I'm trying to do this math and make sure I've got it right. Or it's in the cap. So we. It's 26. Okay, so it's 26, and I guess they were just asking us for what that number is. It's 26,000 and it's 3,000, so it's $29,000. So if we take a net goal of 100,000, they did me a favor and used 100,000 here, and we take the market center cap of 26. 100,000 plus 26 is 126,000. We're looking at netting you 100, okay? And then we're going to take the average. I'm sorry?
Do we have to put 29 here because 3,000 royalty?
I don't understand. Yeah, you know what? I'm wondering why. Yeah, they say the market center cap, but it should be 29. It should be 29. Thanks. So that is what? $129,000. And what did we say our average commission is? We said it's $18,750. So $129,000 divided by $18,750. That's going to be a transaction. Is everyone following?
No.
Yes. Okay. I'll help you. I'm going to get you the number and then I'll tell you in a second. 120. It's 6.88 transactions, so 7 transactions. Okay. Be glad our average price is not $200,000. So let me back up. Okay, we want to net $100,000, but you don't get to take home all of your pay. So we're going to use the $30,000, and I know it's a little in the coaching program that you're not getting the 30%, you're not getting 70% up front, so we can redo your math to get there. It's just the first 3 transactions. And then what we're doing is we're taking that total number. So let's say you wanted 250. We're taking 250 plus 29. So hers is 279. And we're dividing that by $18,750, the average commission. And yours is going to be, what, 21 transactions?
No, 14.18.
14.8, so 15 transactions, okay, to reach her goal. Mine is, at my average sales price is 34. Okay. So, and you'll be able to get those numbers. Now, does that make sense? There's other things that factor in here. There's taxes, there's expenses, there's things like that. And in the MREA, it gives an economic model that tells you what you should be spending on those things and what that looks like. Okay? In this book, there are the models for that to help you get there. What I'm going to say, I want to keep it simple because you could spend all your time working on this and not your time lead generating. What I'm going to say to you is lead with revenue. So, how many of you have spent money on anything other than business cards, internet, and phone so far, and your MLS fees? Be honest. Pandora has, Stephen has. What else have you spent money on?
Open house signs.
Open house signs, okay. What else? Stationery. Postcards. Okay, stamps. Things like that. Shirts. Are you getting calls yet from vendors?
Yes.
Lots.
Yeah. And what's their sales pitch? Who knows the sales pitch?
They help agents get leads and without no cost to me or something.
The big sales pitch that you're gonna hear, that you're gonna fall for, because they're right, is, all you have to do is sell one more house. And we actually start to think that way. All you have to do is sell one more house. And then you pay for it 100 times over. The ROI is whatever. It's only costing you, let me think, it's only costing you $4,000 a month. Now I need to sell 4 more houses to pay for that, right? Of course I can do that. And then, but you didn't sell those houses already. So where's that money coming from? If you haven't sold any houses, you don't have the money yet. So that means you're going to debt. See how agents go broke? 85% fail out within 18 months. I'm here to help you not fail out and not go broke. When I see people up on stage, I go to family reunion, and it used to be you see these people up on stage and I grossed $1 million. And then people started digging into their financials. Well, they have a team of 30 people. How much do you think they grossed or netted? How much do you think they brought home? Yes.
Is that how you just write those numbers down on the board with whatever?
I will. Yes. When I get off the stage. So a few years back, Gary Keller stopped he started requiring a profit and loss from anyone who stood up on stage. Of course, when I got on stage, before we required one. But it will be one of the disciplines that if you start that now, I promise you'll run a more profitable business. I am not as proud of 2020 or 2021 about how much commission I grossed. I'm more proud about how little money I spent and did. Those 2 years, for the most part, I spent on internet, phone, AM cards I brought back in 2021, so to be able to send no cards. And closing gifts, but I already got the closing gifts in stock because I hadn't sold diddly. So I had already spent $1,000 on half the closing. Please leave with revenue. If you need accountability on that, say, I gotta talk to my coach and call me, and I'll say no to them for you. Do you know what I do when they call me now? Because it all sounds so good. Say, I'm sorry, I set my budget in October. Call me back then. And when they call in October, sorry, it's already set. Okay? There's no money, there's no budget for that. It's really important to learn how to say no to that, because all those shiny objects, you guys. You want to know the fastest way to make $1 million in real estate?
Sell real estate.
Sell something to real estate agents. Exactly the fastest way. You know how I save money? Same way I save it here at home. When I go to family reunion and mega camp, which are like our annual conventions, I don't go in the vendor hall. I bought such silly stuff in the vendor hall and spent money on stuff I didn't need in the vendor hall. I don't even go there anymore. I'm like, no, don't need that. No, don't need that. When we were doing it virtually, you'd go in the vendor's room and then they capture your name. I'm like, no, I just wanted to look. Don't tell me anything. So, anyway. So here we come back to, okay, monetary goal. You all have a monetary goal? Do you all know how many homes you need to sell to get there?
Yes.
I go back, I promise the numbers. So for $100,000, we have, plus we're gonna add in 26,000 of cap.
29.
Now, we're gonna add 3,000 of royalty, because I want you to understand the difference, okay? So, sorry, I don't think I saw an eraser over there. So we're up to 129. And then we are going to divide that by 18,750, which is our average commission. I think it was 6.8. We always round up in KW. When you get to bold, you double it. But right now, we just round up. Okay. Bold is like the next big investment you can make. So that's where we get to that number. If you, let's say that you decide that you want to prospect, like you live in condo, you want to prospect that, and you think you're going to have a lower price point, plan ahead for that. Your number can be different, okay? Or if you already live in a luxury market, luxury lifestyle, you're your spouse or somebody, or you were in the C-suite, the executive suite, and you know you're gonna do a lot of luxury business, change your average gross commission, figure out what that would be. Okay, and it's okay to change this number mid-year when you see that your number, that you're selling at a higher or lower price point. That is probably the go-thing thing. Does that make sense now, how you get to that? All right, that is the go-thing meter. Anybody else need to? I want to know your secrets.
Park like 8 blocks away.
I park it. Yeah, of course I bring it.
Every time I go here,
So everybody take a 5-10 minute bathroom meter break, whatever. It's 1:28 now. We'll be back here at, I'm going to just give you the 1:35 if you guys are okay with that. 2:35. That's how long I've been talking.
I was like, it's only been 30 minutes. I was like,
You missed the moment. Where were you taking yourself?
I was taking it mine.
I was posing because I thought you were taking it. I'm so
I was going to, but I didn't get it.
No, that's okay. What? I don't know where that's coming from, and I'm not going to mess with it. She's got it live.
I'm sorry. I feel like I looked at
Here, I'm ready for now, so. That's right.
Maybe, I think. Anyway, so I think that they were just gonna lease it, but still has coming also.
How much is your real estate?
Kind of like border homes with San Marcos, is that the ones, what's that for the 76? 78? Yeah. So she's kind of like right around.
I'm holding my feet for
Right here. And this is like, any words that I know, this is it right here. And I even thought that this was on the
Yeah, I think it's easier. Because I see, I find it
these are all.
I go right, that's fine too.
Of this big block right here. You know, I was like,
Okay, I want to take it out. How about if you smile at you so you like that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I'm going to say meetings. Business meetings.
Make sure you take.
We'll do too. This my site was so clean.
Yeah. Just making a perfect A, which is like, I'm trying to wait for my friend.
Yeah, I know. I love her.
I had a lot of easy part on it. I'm like, like school setting anywhere. I'm like, that's amazing.
Oh, but yeah, so that's not here. Yes, I don't know how to reach out to her and like. That's what I'm thinking. Let's just be like, even when we're out there, let's just go out there. Because I call them. And they do a lot of cool stuff, kids. Or they do a lot of like things.
I was at work when I was like,
Well, you're talking the other lady about a lot of other things. And even for like commercial, she's like,
Yeah, I read those people trust and they know that I'm coming from a workplace of positive.
no,
They know that I need to go into the middle somewhere or something and even kind of come very easily.
I'm sorry. I know.
All right, we're past the time already. Hey, how are you?
Can you say something or can I go see?
Absolutely, I should talk about it in a minute. Yes. Yep, all right, guys. I have a special guest.
Hi guys. Hi.
This is Vinny.
All right, so
Yes.
Red Day. I know Melinda's already brought it up. May 12th. Here's the flyer. You should have saw it on Facebook if you're not part of the group. Eve will send you a copy. That bottom part right there, right? Talk to a lender, right? A lender you know is moving mortgage here. Have them put your information on their own Canva, put your information on there, and have them put their information on the other side. And usually they'll print it out for you in color right there. They'll give you some material door knock. Here's some bags to put with it if you want. If we run out of bags, just put the flyer on the door, and then you pick it up May 12th. Either you can drop it off in front of the door or drop it off here. Okay? Easy way to prospect. So if you say you don't have a reason to prospect, this is a reason to prospect.
Oh, and also, if you don't have bags, Trader Joe's, right up here in Hillcrest, they are the coolest people. Just say, listen, we're doing a food drive, and you can spare 25 bags.
Perfect. So
Where's
here,
the food going to, Vinny?
Father Joe's.
Father Joe's, that's what I thought. Okay. Thank you. On May 12th, the entire company worldwide takes the day off and gives back where they live. It was in honor of Molly Anderson's birthday. She's 85 now. She's been doing a series here. She's a pretty inspirational lady if you ever get to watch her. My mindset was, 80, you know, when I joined the company. She is not like any other 85-year-old woman you know. She's pretty amazing. So we give back where we live. It's a great opportunity. All right, who wants a bonus learning segment? I stepped out there. Everybody saw me distracted on my phone. I had that listing that we did open houses at this weekend. And I'm sitting there during a break trying to find out what the offer is. She wants me to confirm that I got the offer. Additional cover letter, you guys. I have to open up, and the PDFs don't say what they are. So I have to open up every document, scroll down until I can find out the price to see whether I'm excited or I'm not excited. At the next break, am I going to call the seller or am I not going to call the seller? No summary sheet, no cover letter. Don't be that agent. Don't make it hard for the listing agents to get back to you. It's an amazing offer. She should have been shouting it from the trees that it's an amazing offer, okay? And I teach that class later on in the session. Okay. Your journey, how are you going to get to this money goal? How are you going to get there? 60,000, 40,000, 50, 500. What's it going to take? Okay. Well, we're going to get you started here. You might have to do Miss 250. What's your first name? Sarah. Sarah. You're gonna Miss 250. Miss 250. 250. Miss 250. You probably will need to ramp up for more than 10 contacts a day. You might not. Honestly, if you do all these things, you might have to. Right. Call your Coronado people. Exactly. You can also be smart on that. But if you do this daily 10-4, this is the meat of it. It is simple, not easy. It's really simple, you guys. Okay, so if you ran a factory, you'd know how long it takes to make a widget, right? So you also, what it says here, this is interesting. Real estate work.
If you run a factory.
I'm like, okay, if you ran a factory, this is a really interesting one here. You would know how long it takes to make a widget, right? Sounds like business school. Widgets, guns and butter, right? Anybody who took econ, guns and butter. So you know step 1 takes you 2 hours. Step 2 takes you 2 hours. Step 3 takes you 2. And step 4 takes you 2. And it's going to take you 8 hours to do it. And if you want to make a widget until you have some sort of innovation or you hire more people, there's really no way around it. You're not going to get a widget until you put in 8 hours. So real estate is just like that. You're not going to get a sale until you put in so many contacts and so many appointments and so many conversions and leads and follow-up and all the different aspects of that. Fortunately, people smarter than us have already worked this to know how to set you up for success, and it's the daily 10-4. So real estate's no different though, but he marks it out here, or the people who wrote this mark it out here. Time 1 is lead generation. If you don't do lead generation, you're not going on appointments. Okay, next is appointments. Then is agreements, and then it's contracts, and then it's close. And one of the things when they have us instructors come in here, they really want us to share our own personal things. No, there is no eraser. Okay. So I was taught you have 5 jobs as a real estate agent. 5. That's it. This is your 20%. I know we harp on lead gen. You have 5. Remember these. Be inquisitive at the end. One time I couldn't remember one of them, and I had to text my old team leader. And sure enough, he knew it. And he laughed. He says, "Of course you can remember that one. That's your weakest spot." I'm going to go all the way over here. Deborah, what's my first job? Agent. Nicole, what's my second? Oh, shoot. No. There, lead follow-up. Who said lead follow-up? The newest girl in the room. Lead follow-up. Okay? I know, and I just call follow-up club. Okay? Follow-up. It could be something else too. Don't do that. Okay, so lead follow-up, and some people reverse it, and sometimes I need to spend more time on follow-up than I do on generation. The money is in the follow-up, you guys. It really, really is. Say what you're going to do and do what you're going to say. I can all group together. What could be my next thing? Appointments. Could be appointments. what's the next thing? So, close. How do I get to agreement with anybody? What do I have to do to get to a contract?
Relationship.
Close. I gotta negotiate. Negotiations. Yeah. So, am I negotiating for a buyer consult? A listing appointment? A request for repairs? An appraisal gap? How about a soon-to-be ex who won't move out? Squatter. How about an attorney? On and on and on and on. This is actually my differentiator, was the negotiation. But if I don't do these three things, I never get to the thing that I'm good at. And then this one actually should be at the top. And it is practice. What do I mean by practice? Scripts. Scripts is the start, okay? So when you start, it's scripts. And we're gonna actually practice how to learn a script in here. And you kind of do it like an actor and actress, learn their scripts. You practice fast, you practice slow, you chunk it down, you role play it. And then you're gonna work on, as you get better at it, objection handlers, mock listing presentations, I'll call that role play. In our small group, we call it our tribe now, we do a lot of role play. We'll come up with things that one of us is having a challenge and we'll role play through it still. The topics I know, and I'm not among this right now, I actually do this every day for 15 to 30 minutes. When I started in the business, I did cold calling, all of that. Once I got serious about it, I had 4 different partners from all around the country that I practiced with for 15 to 30 minutes a day. And I never even met most of them. Some of them weren't here in San Diego. Most of them were just randoms that I met online. Sounds kind of interesting, doesn't it? Back and forth, 4 different partners every week. But I would get up early and we'd get on the phone and we wouldn't talk about our days and our kids. I really don't know the guys very well at all. We just get right into it. What are we working on? And then I had another one who's actually is a very good friend of mine. We got more in depth, we had to spend more time. We worked on our listing presentations together. It doesn't need to be somebody in the market center, but you do need to practice. And what Stephen does every day is fantastic, yet you need to practice. You need a role play partner. I don't care if it's your dog to start with, or your mirror, or whatever. You've got to practice. And I'm gonna get a little vulnerable here. Who knows on the disc profile what my highest letter is on the disc profile? A D. A D. Yeah, you can see that, right? Okay. And I'm a really high D. And I thought everybody thinks like me. Talk about limiting beliefs, right? And I started real estate as a middle-aged person with professional experience, great education. I am never going to use scripts. I sat in that class. I am never going to use scripts. It's like, no way. Slimy, scummy salespeople use scripts. I had all sorts of stuff over here. And I sat there. Is Monica Reynolds recruit? I don't even remember her name. Is she in here? Okay. I have a new coaching client that came from somebody named Monica Reynolds who actually runs MAPS now. But she was the person teaching that class, that first one I sat in. And I'm that student I sat with her. And I volunteer. You know, who wants to role play this with me? She's role playing a listing agreement. She's going to do Diana Kruse's listing agreement. And she starts it and she says, she says, you know, I'm Monica Reynolds. I'm here. Thanks for having me. We have an appointment at 5 p.m. It's 5 p.m. I'm here. Nice to meet you. I'm going to put my things down here on the table and I'm going to walk through your house as if I'm a buyer because you won't be here when a buyer's here. I want to see that through the eyes of the buyer. And here, could you fill this out when I'm there? And I basically looked at her and said, hell no. You're not walking through my house without me. I'm a high D. That's not happening. She might have even tried the script just trying to get an appointment with me. And she bantered with me for a couple minutes. And she's really good, you guys. And she's much higher D than I am. And she looked at the room and she pointed out to me that only 10% of people were like me. Because I had this mindset that I wasn't going to use scripts, I wasn't going to cold call, I wasn't going to door knock. I still have issues around that because those are all things that I am not warm and inviting to. I have very high personal barriers set up around me. So what I realized then and there is that 90% of people are going to be okay with what I just said and what I just did. And that people way smarter and more experienced than me that have sold hundreds of homes know that this works. And until I practiced it and got comfortable with it and realized how natural it was, now I can walk into a listing and I can do that and be comfortable. And they're right. The script is right. Because if I let you take me through the house, the value of your house goes up about $10,000 every room because you're pointing out that the carpet that you upgraded 10 years ago. And you're pointing out that granite countertop that is now out of style, but you didn't realize it. Because you spent all that money on it long ago, and your price is going up, and I'm losing control of the listing appointment, and losing control of the real estate. Okay, so scripts work. So back to going back to the steps. What are the without looking over there? Somebody, what are the 5 steps? Help me. What's the 5 steps?
Regeneration, follow-up,
Appointments, negotiations,
Practice. Bingo. You got it. So we're going to work first on lead generation. Let me ask you something. So if we got to back into this, and this is where it's kind of hard for you guys, okay? And this is where I was like, Dora, you've been licensed for a week and a half. How long on the average does it take to get a buyer or seller to sign a contract for a sale or a listing? Deb, other than me, or actually more than me, I think you've been in the business longest in the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
By the time you meet someone at an open house, what would you say typically until you're representing them as a buyer?
You tell me about a time frame.
Yeah. Like you're out writing offers for them.
Oh boy.
Typical. Not the one that you get rid of it.
You know what? I don't know the answer to this. I don't know the answer to this.
They could be anywhere from right away to years,
That's
right?
correct.
Right? What about listings?
Same thing.
Okay. My first deal was a listing from an open house, and I followed up with him for over 6 months. Okay. So I don't want to discourage you. The first buyer, usually buyers are sooner because they trust you a little bit more with it. Because once you have your house on the market with an agent, it's kind of miss the window when you blow it, right? The first 2 weeks. First 2 hours in our market we've had the last 2 years are the most critical. So you do tend to pick up buyers a little more. Yeah, no, we did that open house. We thought we had a nice listing lead and a few buyer leads, right? Did we end up with anything out of that? We followed up, we did it. The buyer, it turns out he has a reverse mortgage and he doesn't really have any intention of selling. He'll probably die in the house. That's why he has a reverse mortgage, and that's okay. So let's just say, here they say, 1 to 60 days or more, depending on how much time you put into lead generation every day and how many appointments you go on and close. One of the big ahas, I think, that I heard in my coaching group this week was, don't get too attached or too excited. It's really exciting to get your first lead and they say they want to work with you, and then suddenly they don't. The solution to quality is quantity, always. You just need to have more leads, more leads, more leads, more leads. I remember bragging once. I didn't realize I was bragging. I was in a bold class, and Cody Gibson was the coach, and he coaches down here a lot. I was maybe 3 or 4 years with the business, doing okay. And Cody was talking about, we were working through numbers of how many listings we needed to carry our buyers, and I was like, I've never had one pull out of escrow. And he heard me say it at my group. And he came over behind me, Cody being who he is, said, that's nothing to be proud of. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm really proud of my, no flaw rate. It just means you haven't done enough business yet. And boy, was he right. Boy, was he right. And he also coached, so he said that, but then he coached through it and said it's a volume thing. That when you do enough volume, you will have those fall through, and you also won't be attached to it. You'll be like, okay, that's just what happened, and you move forward, and you move on with the next one, and you do the next deal. That's the commission breath, though. If you get too attached, to the outcome, you're gonna get commission right when it's not the right thing for your client. When you find out there's a cracked foundation, and you're trying to push them to keep buying because you needed that commission because you don't have money for rent, right? That's what a fiduciary needs right there, is you put their needs first. All right, how long does it take for a transaction to close and for you to get paid? Anybody know that?
It used to be what, 30 days, but
In
that's
San Diego, 30 days is pretty standard for a transaction to close.
And then to get paid, what, it's another week?
Depends. If you get your paperwork right,
Yeah.
it's 2 days to 4 to 5. Your paperwork's a mess. It could be longer or something doesn't quite go right. Other states, they get paid right at the closing table, but here there's a process. So average, typical is 30 days. And what we've been doing for the last year or two is not typical at all. 14 days, 17 days, 21 days, even 45 days was typical before. So the cycle that we have in the books are just 90 days is a typical cycle. What we know in general is that what I do today shows up 90 days from now. So today is May 2nd. How long is 90 days? August. You guys are working on your August paychecks right now. If you get paid in May, June, or July, that's a bonus. Okay? You're working on your August paychecks. I know my cycle's shorter right now. It's about 6 weeks for me right now. And I wasn't 100% sure of this until I took some time off in November and December, and then I was sick in January, and it showed up. And I looked back and I said, oh, okay, yeah, I took a little more time off than I thought I did. It showed up because I wasn't lead generating. And the time, remember I told you I'm struggling with time management right now in the coaching role. It's going to show up here in the next 2 weeks in my business. The business that I'm closing right now is for work I did before this started. So the good news is you're working on it, get the leads in, you're going to get paid on it. Okay? So what does the lead generation funnel look like? Oh, and if for every day you don't lead generate, 90 days later you can expect no money. Command has done us this awesome favor. There's this new tracking tool in there that you can put in what you did today. Mine emails me 5 times a day to tell me to track it, to put it in. And I put it in and it tells me how much money I can expect in the next 90 days. And I got to tell you, the last week or two, it's been like $375. $900, it's not very good until you start signing agreements. I'm not talking to enough people and going on enough listing and buyer appointments. So we talked about those questions. So what's the deal for? This is the fun stuff. So what does the lead generation funnel look like? We have leads. Leads are up here at the top. Do you have a funnel in your book? Okay. So I don't have to go like this. Okay. Sorry. Leads, appointments, agreements, contracts, closing. Not every contract closes, like I just said. Okay? Most of them do. And the better you get at your craft, the more will, because you'll learn to bulletproof your transactions. Okay? We're focused on prospecting for leads. So we're going to learn a few scripts, and then we're going to, okay, because everybody's phone's charged with a panic. Right? Let's see what we're going to say. Find traction. Okay. Remember at the beginning of the class, you guys said, fear, laziness, uncomfortable, don't anybody feel like they don't know what to say. We're going to help to break that down. And what you'll find, and there's a term for it, it's called call reluctance. Okay? It's probably in the dictionary, the psychology dictionary for salespeople. What's wrong with us? We have call reluctance. I have an accountability group that they cold call. These guys are cold calling animals. They cold call FISBOs, expireds, they circle down. One of them does 1,000 dials a day, and they tell me I'm the sphere and circle person, or sphere person. They're afraid to talk to their past clients in their sphere. And then I'm afraid to talk to the expireds. They're scared of me, okay? So everybody has their own levels of call reluctance, but what I know is it gets easier the more you do. So that's usually the first call that's the hardest.
Exactly, it's expired.
Oh, great question, thank you. So in the MLS, you will find a status, and it's called called expired. So when I take a listing, there's an expiration date on my listing. And if I don't sell it in that time, it pops up as an expired listing. And then it hits all the data scrapers, and then they sell. They make money off a real estate agent. They sell that data and those phone numbers and addresses to us, and then we call them to try to get them to list. And there's scripts galore for that. Okay? And you'll learn those scripts. They're important scripts to have. Right now, we don't have a lot of expireds. We have maybe 5 a week in our MLS. It'll start to increase. We're going to start to weed out agents who have no idea how to sell houses. That we'll start to see more expireds coming on. A FSBO is short for sale by owner. Those same companies, actually, and you have a free resource. It's My Plus Leads that we have here in the office, that you can get that information. And you can go for old expireds too. And then FSBOs is for sale by owners. I have a friend, forget what community she's in. She's an agent. Her dog's named FSBO. You can tell she's a realtor. Her dog's name. That's for sale by owner, and they scrape the data off of the sites that for sale by owner people will put their information up. You can also go on to the big Z word, and you can look at other ones that there's a for sale by owner section. You can go to all different sites yourself and do that as well. You can have scouts when we start to get for sale by owners again. Have scouts in the neighborhoods that snap a sign, picture of the sign for you when you call them. You can drive around, you can door knock it, whatever. But it's a prospecting tool. Okay, these are people who have raised their hand and said, I want to sell my house. One of my first listings was a for sale by owner. And then you cannot call withdrawn statuses on the MLS. Withdrawn means they still have an active contract with a real estate agent, so you can't call them. You can call canceled. Canceled usually means they changed their mind, something happened. Okay, sometimes there'll be notes in it. It's up to you whether you call or not. Any other statuses I need to worry about? I don't think so. I think that's it.
Coming soon, but it doesn't.
Yeah, coming soon you don't call on either. You don't call on actives, coming soon, pendings. You don't call on any of those. Okay? So, 4 powerful daily habits. I told you you have 5 jobs. Now we're going to have 4 habits. So in this class, we are going to grow and manage your database. We are going to add 10 new contacts to your database daily. I know that Jacqueline has been running a thing to get to 100. Is everybody in this room on command? Gaga just left. I know she's not.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. You're not yet either. So, and you're not yet either. Because you're just so new, you haven't got.
This is my first day.
I'm glad you're here. You too. I'm glad you guys are here, and I know yours too. Okay. Then I want you to, if you're not on command, you just set up an Excel spreadsheet for now, or a Google Drive doc, or Google Drive sheet, or something like that for now, to keep your names of anybody new that you know. Okay. I'll tell you where to go to get the other ones. And then as soon as you're on command, I want you to start adding 10 a day from the people that you already have. So 10 a day, 5 days a week. That's 50 a week that you're going to add. Most of you don't have your databases built out, so this isn't going to be so hard. Where are you going to get these names?
Jacqueline posted on our intranet webpage. For those who are not in command, it's a spreadsheet that they can input, and it will directly, when they do have access to command, can report all those names into their database.
All right, so Jacqueline, our CTL, has a form, a spreadsheet. Was it in the New Agent Facebook group?
The New Agent.
The New Agent Facebook group that you can download this, and it's going to be in a format that then you can upload it to your database. So I would encourage you to get your contacts into that if you haven't already. So you're going to add 10 a day. If you've already got a lot in there, you've already done your phone, you've already done your Facebook, you've already done everybody, then you're going to have to make new people and add 10 new people. So like for me, it's more challenging to add 10 new people a day. But for you guys, most of you, this is more about saying, who do I already have that I'm going to move into my database? I want you to get rid of your limiting beliefs right now. I don't want to put my mother in there. I don't want to put my cranky aunt in there. I don't want to put my sister. I don't want to put my old coworker, my new coworker, the soccer mom, the neighbor. Just do it. I'm not telling you that you have to add them to campaigns or anything like that. Just get them in your database. You can always archive them later. And we're going to teach you how to communicate with them in a non-commissioned rep way. And yes, my cranky sister-in-law gets nothing from me. Okay, but she's still, well, she's not in that database anymore. But like my cranky niece is in there. Okay, so she's still there because she's actually still. I need to make sure I connect with her on a quarterly basis in a way that's meaningful to her. Okay, she doesn't want it the other way, but that keeps me on track with her. Then you're going to speak with 10 people in your database every day. Oh my God, 10 people. Is that scary?
I got a question for you about the database really quick. Is that just ours or other ones have access to that as well?
It's just yours. So KW has a philosophy. Now I don't think they can get in there and take it. They have a philosophy. You're listing your lead, agent driven. KW, what I would do is periodically I would take my database and export it to a CSV file so that I have it. If I were leaving KW, I would do that. But it's not. That's one of the tenets of Gary Keller's view is that it's built for agents. And that it's not like going to the big Z company. It's actually the reason why they started bringing all our technology inside. When I started, our technology was like more sourced like best of practice. And then those companies started getting sold to Zillow and to Compass and like DocuSign, everybody, and they had all of our data. And he didn't want them having our data. He wanted us to have control of our data. So I've never heard of a data breach. I've never heard of anything like that to your database that goes with you. Okay, great question. But I would download it, periodically so that you have it, just in case. And there's some people that still use other outside databases. Why? Why are you gonna? I paid for all those services. In 2020, I moved it all into Command. I've probably been in the best database. You're going to hear, oh, this one's great, that one's great, that one's great. The best database is the one that you use, that you feed. And they all have their weaknesses, I promise you. They all have their pluses and minuses. None of them are perfect. You're going to speak with 10 people in your database every day. You're going to write 10 notes to people you know or have recently connected with every day. And you're going to preview 10 homes. It says every day. It's every week. You're not going to preview 10 homes every week. It does say you can look at them online. That's interesting. Typically, it's been 10 a week. And that can be a little bit tricky. We actually talked about this. If we thought this was going to be too tricky for you guys, there's plenty of open houses. Steve, I saw out at one of my opens this weekend. How many did you see on the weekend?
I did 6.
You did 6 on the weekend?
Maybe 2.5 hours.
In 2.5 hours.
Just let the route out.
Okay. He planned the route out. He looked at what homes were open, and he went and looked at them. There's also broker caravans. So certain days, I live in Point Loma. My broker caravan is from 10 to 12 on Thursdays, and there's usually 3 to 6 homes on broker caravan. It's also an opportunity for me to meet the other agents in the area because when I offer on a property, they're going to know who I am. To meet the other vendors in the area that I might want to do business with, to learn what might be happening in the area, and it's a great social media opportunity.
How does the caravan work? You all be at a location? How does that work?
Great question. Not all broker caravans are back open in person, and not all broker caravans are well attended. So experiment with where you want to work. And yes, it's in the MLS. You can just Google San Diego broker caravan. And then remember, there's 3 MLSs in San Diego. You know, there's PSA organizations, PSAR, SDAR, and North San Diego County. They all have different caravans. You can look up what's on tour in the MLS under tour. You can actually sort for that, and that would be the caravan. And then you can look on open houses as well.
Do we have access to all of those MLSs?
Yep, they're all in ours.
Oh,
The data doesn't all feed perfectly to each other, but as far as open houses and tours go, you may have to Google. The tours won't all necessarily be in our MLS. They'll be what they've been loaded in, but some of them have private tours. Like Point Loma's is different association. So if you want to go to the pitch session, you have to pay money. La Jolla is a different thing. There's always somebody having their hand in something per pocket. You know, Coronado might be different. But just start Googling where you want to work or where you want to know the inventory and start to go know the inventory. And it's okay if it's not where you want to work. Why? I can tell you where and what a $650,000 budget is going to buy you all over San Diego County because I've been in so many homes. And I'm going to count your home showings. You guys can count your home showings as previews. Please do not make appointments to preview homes that are occupied. Please don't ever let me catch you doing that. That's somebody's home and you're asking them to leave it for what they think is a showing. Don't do that. Also be respectful of every property you go in. I see this one gal who's real popular on Instagram, but you know what? I see her on people's beds and their bathtubs, and I suspect that people really wouldn't be all that thrilled. She's not their listing agent, okay? You have to judge the situation and talk to the seller and the owner. Remember, these are people's homes. So I prefer that you are going to the opens and the caravans rather than just making previews. Now, if I have a client in the old days, way back 3 or 4 years ago, if I had a client coming to town and I knew their budget was $1 million and they were looking at 3 or 4 different neighborhoods, I might go preview all those homes before they came out here so I could decide what 6 I was taking them to because I wasn't going to take them to 15. So I would preview those homes, especially as you get into higher price points, you do a lot of that. Unfortunately, with our market the way it is now, we don't have the luxury of previewing homes because they're sold. Okay, so that will change, and this will become a habit that you'll need to do to learn your inventory. If you can't physically get into the house, I want you previewing them online. There's a lot of good videos and virtual tours and ways that you can start to learn the inventory. Like you'll know, you need to really learn the price point, and it's a great opportunity when you learn other areas too, because then you know how the values present. I do a lot of relocation, military and other relocation, and I don't farm a particular neighborhood. I'm really good at that because I do know what you can get here versus what you can get there, and I know the resources, you know, that where they might want Poway without crossing fair housing lines versus Encinitas, and what the difference is in those 2 top school districts. And I can help them evaluate that.
I was going to ask, you wouldn't suggest doing just like showings, like for vacant homes for part of the ones that you view, or is it better just not to tease the agent like this if you have a buyer?
That if you're going to do a preview, I think you should be honest with the agent about it, even if it's vacant. If it's a vacant where they just say go show and they don't care, I'd probably go see it, especially if it's a flip or something like that. They just really don't care. But I'm cautious about that. Okay, it's a small community of the people who actually sell houses in San Diego. We might have 28,000 closing seats, but I think there's 700 who sell more than 10 homes a year or something like that. And you get to know people, and you know, just make sure you're good about that. Not all perfect. Do that. Does that make sense? Yes?
I'm sorry, when you say sell homes, does that include just a listing or having a buyer and in turn an offer and it gets accepted to that count as sold?
There's a side. So to every deal, there's 2 sides to a sale. And when I'm talking about sell homes, yeah, it's sides.
Okay.
So there's less than 1,000 agents in San Diego who do more than 10 sides a year. Okay? And why don't they? What did we learn today? Why aren't they selling more than 10?
Not lead generating.
They're not lead generating consistently. Okay? And there's no shame if you don't want to sell more than 10. I don't want to provide that. That's okay. There's plenty of people that's not necessary. But you do get better at the craft and what you sell. That would be my challenge to you. If you're only selling 3 or 4 homes a year, do you really know the contract? Do you really know what's going on in the market right now? Are you really a great fiduciary? Okay. Let's see. So you're going to be committing to this. Okay. Ideally, when you're adding people to the database, you want to be adding name, address, phone, cell, and more contact information if you can get it. Sometimes you can't get all of that. That's kind of your job, is to keep moving forward. So you'll get database health scores based on what level of information you have. And that's always a good reason to reach out to people. We're not going to use that. We're going to use something else. No, we're going to use that either. Okay, we'll get into the scripts. All right. What other information would you want in your database? What would be useful?
Birthdays.
Birthdays, anniversaries, kids, pets, hobbies. When Lisa's in, that's a great point, right? And I'm gonna give you a tip. You're not gonna call them a month before the lease ends. You're gonna call them 6 months, 3 months, and then a month. You're gonna keep working with them on that. And the command has a function, a task function. There's other people more qualified than me to teach all the command functions. You're gonna put a task in there that tells you to call them because their lease is really coming out. Or if it's the owner that says, sorry, I decided to lease it. You find that on expireds a lot. Sorry, I leased it. Well, when's that lease up? And then you're gonna stay in relationship with them. You're gonna continue to follow up and you're gonna make sure you know when that lease is up, and that's a task to follow up on. So getting them into command allows you to leverage tech to then stay in touch with them frequently. Make sense? All right. Connect with 10 people in your database. You're gonna let them know, so every day you're gonna connect with at least 10 people from your database. The purpose for the call and conversation is threefold. Let them know about your business, ask for their business, and ask for referral business. Okay. I wish we weren't recording. And this is one of the reasons that this Ignite class is probably being retired. I am not going to coach you to ask for business every time you call your people. All right? And to even talk about your business every time you call your people. I'm going to coach you to connect with them and to make a care call and to come from curiosity. Because guess what? They're going to ask you about your business. Unless they're totally narcissistic or busy, or they are going to ask what's happening in real estate. You will get the opportunity to talk about real estate. So first, connect with them, especially because you guys are new at this. Probably like you can talk to them. Hey, I'm calling to see how are you? How's the kids? How do they like being back in school with no masks? Everybody still healthy in your house? You know, see where you're at. If you have the right relationship, let's say it's a coworker. I'm so happy to talk to you. I want to let you know I just got my real estate license, and I'm just want to let you know this is what I'm up to now. I'm so excited. Like, you're in this class, you can use the script. I am in this class, and the lady teaching it told us we need to call 10 of our friends and let them know that we are licensed and we're in this business. Who do you know that may be looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate right now? You can use that script. It's okay. It's fair if you're comfortable. But if you're not in a relationship with them, I wouldn't use that script. I could call 100 people in my database right now and ask them. I did in December. I was shy of my goals. And I don't typically ask for business on every call now, but I did call a whole bunch of them and said, I'm shy of my goals. Who do you know that's thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Can you help me out? Okay. Because I hadn't asked 12 times that year, and I was in a relationship with them. Then you're going to follow up. So, people in my group, who could you have written a note to this last week? Who did something for us this last week?
I wrote a note. You wrote a guy wants to sell a house.
Guy who wants to sell a house, that one, right? I know somebody else followed up with notes today on open house. Who did a class? Do you write notes to the vendors who spent their time teaching you?
I sent an email to Foundation Escrow.
You send an email to Foundation for the time that they put. I have my clients have had class with Foundation and Fidelity. You can write notes to them. A handwritten note is unique. I know it's really old school and you don't always have the addresses, but it's a pretty unique and powerful thing because people get a lot of email and they get a lot of text and they get a lot of that. So we encourage you to write 10 notes as well. So think about, can I write a note? And when we get to writing notes, Sharpie is your friend. Sharpie is your friend. Because you get to that note and there's all that space. What do I write? I can write a happy birthday card with one line and a Sharpie, right? I can say, like I do the senior networking thing later in the week. I can write a note to all of them. It was great to meet you on Thursday. Looking forward to getting to know you better. That's it. That's it. Drop in my card because that was a business associated thing. And I can tell you that I've gotten people after networking that call me and say, oh my goodness, because I did it within 24 hours. Wow. You're the kind of person I want to align with. Because that kind of follow-up, you're going places. I remember being at work and people saying that kind of thing. That's powerful follow-up. So use a note. You're cold calling, you're talking to somebody, you have their address. Hey, thanks so much for taking my call. I hope, and he said, I'm busy. I hope we can connect another day when we're not so busy. It's simple, don't overthink it. Okay? And then know your market. We already talked that one to death. There is an online tracking system, but there's also in your materials that Evie gave you, there is a link to tracking that Broker Rob has that is a spreadsheet. Yes, I want you to put your name in. Yes, I want you to track. You're going to report up every single time, guys. This is where you don't get off, even if it's a 0. I don't care. You're going to be asked to report that. There is supposed to be a sheet in here with all of your names, and then we report in and track. I'll make sure that we have that starting tomorrow. There's a sheet where we're going to put it up on the whiteboard, and it's going to have your names. And there are going to be prizes and rewards when you're done for those people that actually finish this and do this every day. And I don't mean like a gift card to Rubio's. It's stuff you can actually use in your business. Yes.
You said you just sent an email with that link?
And your resources.
Not the one on board.
No. Just because didn't you get the number on that page? The 104? Broker, actually it might have been Broker, it was Broker Bob. I apologize. It was Broker Bob that sent out after day 1. We'll make sure you have it. It's in the Google Drive.
It's daily104.com.
That's not the one we want to use. Yeah, that one's like kind of defunct. So yeah. So we're going to use, it's in the Google Drive that Robert sent out, or Bob sent out. I'll make sure that we resend that out again.
So we might not have it yet.
No, you might not. Because it was a class that we had last week, like a preview to this. I'll make sure, and we'll make sure it goes out. Did you all register through the Eventbrite link?
Yeah, but there was something wrong with that. I think a lot of us didn't, we got the confirmation, but it didn't show up in the,
I did hear that this morning.
Yeah.
On the app.
Okay. We'll make sure that we get that to
Right,
you.
we're having that problem.
But what you're going to track, it's just 4 things. Okay? How many people you added to your database, how many conversations you had, how many note cards you sent out, and how many homes you previewed. Okay? We are going to give you a buy in that it doesn't all have to be by phone. And it doesn't all have to be note cards. It could be a text. And it could be a text for a conversation. But what's a conversation look like in a text? I'm going to pretend one here. And Nicole gets picked on because we do a lot together. Nicole, I'm going to send you a text. Tomorrow's your birthday, right? I'm going to pretend it's your birthday. I'm just pretending. I don't know why I picked up the phone. Hey, Nicole, happy birthday.
Hey, thanks. I think you remember.
Yeah. Okay, is that a conversation? No. Not yet. Not yet. It actually can count as a conversation, but not that one. Now, I'm going to say, did you do something special to celebrate? That's my next text.
Yeah, I had a party with my cats.
You had a party with the cats. Is Emily there?
Yeah, she was your favorite.
Awesome. What's going on in your business?
Just working away. Things are going good so far.
That's great. What specifically, and this can all be by text, you guys. I have these kind of texts or Facebook messages. What specifically is going good in your business? Mine's a little slower than I want it to be right now.
So I'm already hit my goals for the first couple months, so I'm on track to meet, my goals for the first 6 months.
Sweet.
Yep.
Sweet. That's awesome. That's great. Keep it going. And that's probably it. And she probably would ask at that point like how mine are, but it's her birthday. She might not. We might not have that in depth of a conversation. That's a conversation. Okay. Let's say it's not somebody in real estate. It's just a friend. Once we start to engage, conversation. Okay. I don't need to teach you what a conversation is. You know what it is. It's a back and forth. If it goes to real estate, that's even better. That's more likely to move your business forward. and it doesn't have to. I want you to get in a relationship. When you're new, I want you to tell them you're excited about what you're doing, right? There's no shame being excited about it. Tell them, I'm so excited. Or I'm scared. Or this is way harder than I thought. It's okay. Be vulnerable. It's all right. Okay? But have the conversations, and I promise you will start to move forward. And don't make them all text. Don't be mean. Okay? The phone conversation is much more powerful. The in-person conversation, belly to belly, is even more powerful than that. Yet we can't do 10 belly to bellies a day. It's pretty tricky. If I go to a networking meeting and I'm sitting and we do the little, yes, hi, I'm Melinda DiPerna and I sell real estate. And you do yours and you do yours and you do yours and there's 30 people there. That is not 30 conversations, you guys. Sorry, that's not 30. 30 is when we actually have a conversation and we exchange information. Okay? All right. Actually, you don't have to exchange the cards and the information, but that would be a conversation if we talk about that. Okay. Any questions about what a conversation is?
So I think like it's just one that I have a hard time when ask people to deal with the business, you know, because I always just start with the conversation and then I stop at the part, start talking about the business.
You'll get more comfortable with it. We're going to practice the scripts and I'll help you with that. Because you will get more comfortable with it. I do that for business. I just don't ask for it until I'm not in a relationship.
I mean, for a stranger, I'm okay with that, but for friends, you know.
Isn't that ironic? It really is. It's ironic that we don't want to ask our friends and family.
Yeah.
I love there's an Instagram reel, you know, they'll talk about, and I forget what the music is behind it, where they're like, you want to know how to support your friends, and it's like, pull up. You know, come on, bring people, support us, buy from me. You don't even have to buy from me. I'll warn to people, don't go buying all the press-on nails and the Pampered Chef and everything else that everybody else is selling, thinking you're going to get business from them, okay? Get in a relationship with them instead. Support them. Go ahead and advertise their event, but you don't have to buy their nails, okay? You have to do nothing. I know the men are like, what the hell are you talking about, right? Women, for whatever reason, and I don't want to call victim, because some women make some real money on it, some men too, on these MLMs, that they're selling product, and it's the old Tupperware model. But yet there's all sorts of new models to that. And some people make some really good money on it. All right, so the purpose of scripts. It is customer oriented, and we are not doing the videos, and we're going to, scripts give us confidence to do our job. I don't even know if it's on here. Yes, they allow us to stay focused and present in the moment. So if you already know what you need to say, you can actually listen instead of thinking about what you're going to say. That's, to me, that was the biggest benefit of scripts. I've got 1 million scripts now. And if you watch me in action, you won't even know I'm scripted because it's so natural. The few people that have been with me are like, yeah, you know, it's because they see it after a while, it's just something that's become internalized. And then it doesn't feel good because you believe in it and you're coming from a contribution. So, they provide consistency too in what we say and do. We talked a little bit about limiting beliefs around scripts. Is there anybody, I shared mine, is there anybody that has a limiting belief around scripts? Is there anybody sitting in here with their arms crossed thinking just like me? Like, no way.
I used to be like that. I was here for my real estate lessons and the classes, and Stephen, at that point, he was in probably called it office manager or whatever, and he was having this, he would come and have a speech about, you know, the office, and then he would say, talk about scripts a lot, and he would say, you have to call them all the time. Call them when they're with their families, and I was like, what's this man? So I didn't end up being here. I went to a different brokerage agency, and even when I came here, I didn't realize this is the same office.
That's true.
But that's really something that pushed me away from this office because it was really on. It's great. It's you know how it is right now.
Right.
But I didn't understand that.
Right.
Which I do now.
Right.
It's the same
It may not be the same script. But there's a value to it. I knew when we were out door knocking, it was like, what's that script for that? And I had a moment when we were door knocking a few weeks ago that I was like, man, I wish I had practiced that script a little bit more because I was frustrated.
It's like drills, like when I dance, when I do drills for an hour, it's like the same.
Practicing scales.
And then my body kind of just, it's like a muscle memory, it's the same thing. It's not comfortable, it can be boring, but
Terribly so.
but it is, it becomes part of you.
Any other limiting beliefs? Okay. So, we're going to learn some scripts. We need, I want you guys to get partners that you spend 15 minutes a day reciting scripts to each other. It'd be great if you get a partner in this class and you just 15 minutes. Do it first thing in the morning, do it at night, I don't care. You don't have to be best friends, you don't even have to like each other. You're just going to practice the scripts. You're just going to read them the way they are, and you're going to practice the scripts. You don't even have to do the role play, the objection handling, or any of that stuff yet. You'll get to that. But you're going to practice the scripts. So, buddy up. I want you to buddy up. I want you to buddy up.
Anyone in general.
Okay. And I prefer everybody in the class. Don't be shy. Does everybody have a buddy? And I got nothing to beg on. I can do all the teacher things. All right, guys, you ready? Everybody who wants a partner has a partner. There's ways to learn scripts. We're going to read the first sentence of the script out loud 5 times. Then when you read it out loud, you're engaging your eyes, your voice, and your entire body. I'm going to encourage you to stand up when you do your scripts, okay? Repeat with a smile on your face. I have a really dear friend. She's a millionaire real estate agent in Miami, and she has a whole routine of the people I've learned the most from were actresses and actors, but actresses, because this is what they did. And before she does a presentation, she does this whole energy thing, and she practices her diction and the car and all that. I learned a lot. They do power stances. If you've ever seen, I don't know if it's Tony Robbins or Grant, who I don't like to mention because I don't like them, but they jump on their trampoline and they do all these things before they present because the energy matters. Then you're going to read the second line of the script. So there's a whole way to memorize in 6 steps. Here we're just going to practice, and then you do it one at a time. Say the hard part, recite the first 2 sentences, chunk it down, and then say the entire script 5 times in a row. So this is your formula for when you guys are practicing, okay, to learn the scripts. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 choices for scripts for you guys. On my pages 43 and 44, I want you to pick one of those. And you can do partners, you can pick different ones if you want.
Yeah, we're gonna do the first one.
So there's the new to real estate script. There's the new to Keller Williams script. There's a remind them you're in real estate script, and there's a new to area script. Okay. And how are we doing? I hope I'm getting close to this. I'm getting a little slow on this. All right, we're gonna do script for 5 minutes. Pick your script. I want you guys to go through and practice it, stand up, talk to each other. And then we're gonna call.
Some scripts, but they usually involve picture statements.
Yeah.
5 minutes. I'm only asking you to practice 15 minutes a day with a partner. Was that so hard? No. Especially once you get started. Not so bad, right? 15 minutes, that's it. Set a timer. Be all business. Don't let it go on and on. All right. Now gets the fun part. Everybody's really nervous, right? We're going to dial. You're lucky that I've talked too much because we're not going to dial for the whole time, but this is the most important part of your day right now. We are, you can move to the corner. I know it's really uncomfortable. I don't like it either, but it is what it is. So you are going to dial. And we're going to dial, it would be 15. We're going to dial for 5. And you are not going to do this. Those of you who brought your phone, contact us. No, I don't want to hurt. Who is that? I have no idea who this is. Alicia or I? Oh, no, I don't know what to say now. No. You're not going to do that. All right? You're not going to do that. Pick a letter, pick a person, and call. It's really hard. What are we going to say? What are we going to say? We just practice the script. Oh, what are the scripts? Why not? Who's having a heart attack right now? Okay. In my first Ignite class, there's a woman, Peggy, forgive me, I won't say her last name. There's a woman named Peggy who's now a successful agent out in East County. And she had such a panic attack that she went in the bathroom and had to do some business. Okay, it wasn't pretty and she had to go home. She had such a bad panic attack about this. And she persevered through, and she's now a successful agent. And we all laughed about it, and that kind of thing. But it's okay, it's normal to panic. It's normal to feel uncomfortable about it. That's all right, just dial, okay? Just make the call. And then if you don't get somebody, make another one. I'm just gonna have you do it for 5 minutes. I'm gonna make a couple calls too, okay? Here in the room. I haven't done my lead gen today, it's all backed up. It's on my calendar though, which is the next subject is calendaring. Who doesn't know who to call or what to say? You don't? Okay. What's your challenge? Is it the same or is it the and you're newly, freshly licensed, right? Who would be happy for you that you get your real estate? Do you have some family friends that would be happy for you? Pull and say and use the new to real estate script. Okay, get as far as you can on that. Just get through the barrier of calling. Some people take the strategy of eating the frog first, so doing the hardest part first, calling those people. But I would encourage you right now, maybe call a few friendly faces, all right? If you're really, really panicked about this, be honest with me right now. I have a strategy for you if you're really panicked.
I think you're calling your
It would be a gratitude strategy. It would be going for be friendly. It would be to call somebody that you care about and tell them how grateful you are. Okay, whether there's somebody who encouraged you to get the licensing, somebody who paid for it, somebody who's been supportive, I might call them and say, hey, you know what, I'm in this class, and my coach has us calling, and I'm really nervous about this, and I want you to know how grateful I am for the support you've given me to do this. I'm really excited about what my career is going to be. And that's it. You may end up crying, you may not. Okay. Who's excited? All right, 2, 3 in a row that are excited. Mel Robbins talks about, there's a TED Talk, I think, and a book, the 5-second rule, and I think it was her who has helped me. I get some anxiety going. I even get some anxiety before I teach this class. And she said to reframe it, that the anxiety is excitement, because it's the same physical reaction. So I'm excited. So let's change that in your mind. Remember we talked about mindset, how important that is. You're excited. Okay, so let's make a couple of calls. 5 minutes. And you're almost done. Huh? Yes, absolutely. And there might be a person, prize for the person who connects with the most people in 5 minutes.
how hanging it was.
Oh, it's been a while, and I wanted to
Hi, this is Caroline Sanchez. Do you talk? How are you doing? I know we already got my name, but I'd like to share an exciting news. I was a real estate agent with other Williams. So I just wanted to share my news, and I'm excited. And partnerships. Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's a partnership. I have all the knowledge for this. I all these enthusiastic partners. That's what I'm sharing over with you. I wanted to keep in contact with some of my
Do you ever have a chance to look at your listings or we call later?
Well, first I want to share my real estate app. You can find it anywhere, from the street to any place in North America. It's free, there's no cost to you. I will send you my real estate website. Or you can make one person that's stacked in a call. So that's great. Okay.
Plus my plans.
Oh, is there? Down until this stuff?
You would be. First time I got out of the state. You didn't see what's going on.
Has he looked into mortgage options or?
The cost of it.
Especially.
Can I get your
Yeah, it's in the list. Okay, so do that. And then while you're down there, would you sign the fire protection agreement that's in the document?
So let me know if there's anything else you need.
It is.
Okay, have a great day.
So basically on the summary, what you want to do is you want to go to that last page, but it spells out what a fiduciary duty is. It says that you will, basically do this weekend, take me to construction. It says that I accept the commission that's on multiple listings, and if you go and have accepted that's called market, that you negotiate that's all. And it says that if you get the contract that has still compensated by for 90 days on a property. So let's say it should be for sale by the owner, and then just spells it all, it just spells it all out.
I just wanted to share, like, I'm sharing with you.
I'll send you a new link. Yeah, but I will resend you, the copies of that. Okay, thanks, Ms.
Thank you for your time. Please don't do anything. How's everything going?
Yeah. But honestly, I was honestly thinking about like, I wouldn't like know what ended up happening because I know my mom and all like school or like either it off or not even college or what ended up happening. Oh wow, so you're like
Okay, we have a few people wrapping up calls, so I'm not going to touch it. There's a question about the KW app for those who shared the app. There's two KW apps you need to have. One's the consumer app. The consumer app you download from the store, it's a white background and red KW. Okay. Once you go in and you have all your information in there, you can then share your app from that. Do spend some time on it and get familiar with it.
So
that the red one is command, and it's awesome, actually. I don't say that very quick, very often in the it's awesome.
You're all on.
It's a little narrow.
Which the best part is you So that's the consumer app with the white background and red, and then the command app is red with white. I don't know. Okay, did you guys get that the consumer app is white with a red red, so you want that consumer app, oops, not that. This consumer app, and that's the one that you'll be able to share that with people. And then you want the command app, which is this one. Yes, so this one's command and it's red with white. That's the one for your system to put people in. There might not be anything. I don't use it a lot. But there are people who like it. Okay. All right, guys. We are really low on time. So who spoke to 5 people? Who spoke to 5 people? Who spoke to 4? 3? Who spoke to 3? 2? 2? Yes. And 1? I heard some good stuff going on here, you guys. I'm really proud of you. That's not an easy start, okay? But you see how you get the momentum going? And as you practice the scripts, you get something to say. Now, if you promise somebody something, you need to make sure you do that tonight before you quit. Because that's like the worst thing. We hurt ourselves because we don't do what we said we were going to do. I'm guilty of it. We all are. You get home, you're tired, and you don't do it. Okay, so do whatever you promised you were going to do. And that's the beginning of what you're going to count those conversations. Make sure you write them down. Log them in command, and the app's great. You can log that you had it right then. You can log you had a conversation.
Your business, was it like your friends or people you met?
Sphere, people I met.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sphere.
I noticed like in the beginning when I tell people like what I do, it's always like they're interested in being a real estate agent as well.
Fabulous. So come from contribution, right? Great. Get the link from Jacqueline, send them to the link to real estate school. KW pays for it now. Maybe get them in your down. Maybe 1 in 10 are going to do what they actually said they're going to do.
That's true.
Okay?
And then they end up just like.
And then other ones may be great agents and you just have to change their life.
Yeah.
Or they may not be in the area and we can teach you how to do referrals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Evie, I'm running late.
You're good.
Okay. So, what have I got? How many people did great? We'll do prizes another time. I don't think I have enough for all of that. All right, so you did that. Now we're going to talk very briefly about accountability. You already have the accountability in Ignite. Plus, most of you have coaches in the coaching program. So I want you to fill out the tracker. Okay? If we get to my class, if you're still here, because I'm not going to do what they did in college that says, look at I was in sciences. So what they said to us is look at the person on the right, the person on the left, the person in front of you, the person behind you. Only one of you are going to be here at the end of the thing. Only one of you is going to graduate. It's like, thanks for that pep talk. I feel really good. That's what they still do in science and engineering school. It's ridiculous. It's terrible. They should all be fired for so many people coming now. Anyway, so you're going to be accountable. And then, we already talked about prioritizing. What's your priority? Lead generation. Simple, not easy, okay? Now, you're going to live by a calendar. And I kind of blew it with the time because that would have been a good example of budgeting the calendar. I don't care what your calendar is. I don't care if it's a paper calendar, if it's your phone, if it's anything. You're going to learn to live by the calendar. The sooner you do it, the better you will be. I'm going to show you my calendar. I made sure that it was color-coded properly for all of you. Okay? Money-making activities, which is lead generation and lead follow-up, should be in green. Okay? That's the easiest way to do it. But you should also schedule personal time. You should also schedule, I started putting in gray for drive time. I'm like, man, I'm spending way too much time driving. I gotta think about that, figure this out. For me, things that could be delegated, I used to have an assistant, are yellow. But I encourage you to start color coding them yellow to begin with, so you start to look at, is there a way I can delegate this? You don't need this. I mean, we all need we all need this. You don't get to hire an assistant until you're doing about 35 deals a year. You don't need it. You do hire a TC. Use a TC. That's real money for your bank. But can you leverage other ways? People, can you have a housekeeper? Yes. Can you carpool? Can you order on Instacart? Can you leverage other ways? Absolutely. And can you, Vinny mentioned, can you have the printer or have the lender print your flyers for Red Day? Okay, can you leverage? So if you color code yellow from the beginning, I color code pink for personal, purple for coaching, blue for education, gray for driving. What else is in here? Green. Not enough green right now. And if you erase it, and I know we're not using erasers, if you erase it, you must replace it. So something comes up and it's during your lead-gen time. What most of us do is, oh well, I didn't lead-gen today. So move that time block to somewhere else, preferably same day. Don't wait until you have to lead-gen for 10 hours in a day. And trust me, we've all done it. I know a team down in South Bay that if you're gonna be on their team, guess what? You're making 100 contacts a day for your first week. That's your boot camp. If you can't do that, you're not on the team. It sure breaks down your call reluctance really fast. Okay, and they're very successful. So use the, and during Ignite, there's some sample calendars of what your calendar is gonna look like. You're gonna have to budget, okay, because you're gonna be in class. Live by the calendar, talked about accountability, and then there are some agreements of expectations. I want you to come next time with this checked off and signed, the one you can have the instructor. If you already have it, you can give it to me. And there's one for your family, if you have other people that you live with. This always makes me sad because I'm kind of solo and I'm like, I don't know what to sign it, right? But you need them to understand what you're doing and the why and the commitment of what this business requires and get them in on it with you. When you have children, it's easy. Just promise them a trip to Disneyland. And then they'll ask you if you did your lead gen. They'll say, did you do your 10 contacts? And this one's really important. One last one. Just prepare for your next class, okay? But your biggest homework is the 10-4. Okay, you don't get off because we were in class today, sorry. So you're probably gonna do a lot of messages when you go home tonight. Your action plan, I want you to go over your big why, polish it up, complete your daily 10-4, and start tracking this. Create your calendar. So this is gonna tell you what you need to do. Guys, I know it's intense. You have tomorrow off, actually. I don't. I'm teaching another class. I know it's intense, but you're starting a business and it's an investment in you. If you're not going to invest in yourself, then who are you going to invest in? Okay? Ahas, we're past time, so if you get up, I won't be offended. And in Keller Williams, you hear us ask for ahas. This is culturally what we ask for. What did you learn today that you want to share with everybody else? What was something new, a big aha for you that you're like, oh, okay, that's going to make a difference. Yes, ma'am.
Like, when I told her, she already knew I had a real estate business and everything, and in her head, I'm like this successful real estate agent, and she's like, oh my gosh, congratulations on everything you've been doing. Oh, and I'm just, in my head, I'm like, I'm really sorry, guys, I've never had to make one sale, but you know, but like,
how amazing is that? Perception is reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's getting them to know who you have to know and like, and now she's learning to trust you. You had an aha? No?
The aha for me is recognizing how many transactions I actually need to get to where I want to be. And now I know what I have to do to get there.
Right. It's hard to plan if you don't know what you're going for, and then we try to give you the tools to get there and teach you those tools. As you do more, we'll start to learn more about your conversion ratios. And when we talk about your numbers, I already knew like average conversion ratios. Okay, so that's kind of where we came up with yours. Aha.
I was just gonna say, like, especially for newer agents, please listen to Melinda, because that lead gen, like, it works. I can't say the word, like, my office mate, our little tribe, we say this F word works, can't say it. It really does. So please listen to her, take everything that she says to her, because she knows what she's talking about.
Do you remember when you were struggling with 5 a day?
Oh, God, yeah.
And 10?
Yeah.
At one point, she was paying me $5 if she missed her numbers. I didn't ask for the $5, you guys, but she needed something, and you know what? That didn't last very long. She paid me probably 15, maybe $20, and then she hasn't missed her numbers. And so she needed that level of accountability before she could become self-accountable and self-mastery. And now when she, like, let's say, I think it's 15 a day right now, when she decides she needs to do 25, she may need new accountability in there. I actually was forced to write a check to someone and give meetings and my coach. And if I didn't do what I said I was gonna do that week, that check was already in a pre-addressed stamped envelope to mail to that person. It was not a small check, and it didn't get mailed. I did what I said I was gonna do.
So when you get rid of like your family and friends, you're going out and like meeting these like.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to give you some of the ideas of ways to generate other leads and to meet new people and to grow your sphere. That we would call your sphere. You're looking to grow your sphere. So, because at some point you hit a ceiling on how much business you can do with the people who already know. So you need to be more and bring them into your sphere. And that's a long haul play. That's why people call it Expireds and Bisbos, because they've already raised their hand, I want to sell it. And if you do a good job selling their home, then you bring them into your sphere. So most of my past clients are in my sphere, and they also refer me other business. That's when it gets really nice when you're 5, 6, 7 years in business.
I have a quick question about like business and stuff. So if there's one list of this, just like 5 people, how many people are calling them? You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you 100 people. Truth is, it's about 100.
So then everyone gets the same people, right? So that's all.
That's how we're going to read really actually about it. Yeah. And you got to just not worry about that because you got to believe that you have something that are going.
I think so.